already know that you're a threat. With the rest, let's go. We won't fit in your box. We don't quit, we won't stop. Ride us all to the top. We won't fit in your, we won't fit in your, we won't fit in your box. No, we don't quit, we won't stop. No, ride us all to the top. Whoa. We won't fit in your box. No. Tell you we don't fit in your box. Why you try to box me and I got the key to unlock? I know the locksmith, optics, speak of the loss. I'm eating lobster, chopsticks, freaking the boss. You know, I'll never fit in where I go at. Boss talk like I'm Boaz. Why fit in when you know you can stand out still? They remember you more when you hand out deals. Let's go. We won't fit in your box. We don't quit, we won't stop. Ride us all to the top. We won't fit in your, we won't fit. We won't fit in your box, no. We don't quit, we won't stop, no. Ride us up to the top, whoa. We won't fit in your box, no. Don't box me in, I do my own thing, spirit is right within. I got my own way, violent is not within. Look at the way that I do my ops again, better let me loose, you know that I got the juice, everything I got to do, words that I speak out my mouth, I gotta move, we can't fit in your box, we too cold and you know. We won't fit in your box, we don't quit, we won't stop. Ride us all to the top. We won't fit in your, we won't fit in your, we won't fit in your box, no. We don't quit, we won't stop, no. Ride us all to the top, whoa. We won't fit in your box, no. Thank you, Ben, for coming out tonight. My name is Sanhok. Let's go.
PMCO North America Grand Finals, $20,000 on the line. Day number 3, 4 more games to go. Enigma, Mustache Dave on the mics here today. Enigma, how you doing today, man? It's a big day.
Feeling good. I mean, it's the last day for these squads to really show what they're capable of, and I'm excited to see, which of these teams are going to really be able to perform in this crunch time position.
Talking about the crunch time, before we get to that, make sure you follow all of these socials. Hashtag PMCO. I saw you just made a tweet, by the way. Hashtag PMCO it. You'll love to see it. So, huge day. Stay up to date with everything PUBG Mobile Esports. You saw that right down there below. So, if you're tuning in right now because you saw Enigma's beautiful tweet and you liked it and you retweeted it, and you're wondering, what are the players playing for today? Where's the money? The shmoney. Day number 3. Well, Enigma, here's the breakdown.
Yeah, the shmoney itself. First place is the $6,000 prize pool, but it's not just first place walking away with the cash. Second place nets you $4K in its own. Third place with $2,500. And then after that, it starts going a little bit down more. Fourth place with $1,500. Fifth through eighth cashes you $700 itself. And at the bottom, I mean, you're walking away with a few $100. So in my eyes, a lot of these players have a bit of cash that's worth playing throughout the whole rest of the tournament today.
Yeah, without a doubt. So we will be chatting about the prize pool all day long because that's pretty much the main focus here. And talking about the day, well, let's pull up the maps. As we said, we got 4 more games to go here in the grand finals. And, well, here are the 4 maps here, Enigma.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's the same as it's been the last 2 days. We've got the Erangel at the start and the finish for the night. I always enjoy it because it's the classic map everyone, knows and enjoys when it comes to PUBG Mobile, anything related. But the Miramar and Sanhok, we've seen some teams have some stellar performances, mostly just with having high elimination matches. And some of these teams are starting to really need to perform with, we've seen dominance performances from other teams, but the consistency, it's not really going to play too much of a factor with the last only 4 matches for the day.
Yeah, and momentum is going to be a real big thing here today, especially with only 4 more games and how quick each game kind of kickstarts. The games are really quick. It starts, it ends, it starts, it ends. So let's check out actually the overall rankings after 2 days. Where are these teams at as of right now? Now, we still got 4 more games to go, so keep that in the back of your mind. But, Enigma, X-Cuties, all right? That is the question for me. Will anybody be able to catch up to X-Cuties?
Well, there's only one team that comes to mind. It's the team right underneath them, 412 Nomads, who's had that consistent performance, whether it was the last chance qualifiers or the PMCO Grand Finals. So they're the only team in my eyes that has a chance. But with seeing X-Cuties finishing top 2 out of 6 out of the 8 matches they've played, it's really going to be tough to see if they're going to be able to actually crumble under the pressure. Because in my eyes, they're as cool as a cucumber. X-Cuties is coming into today just thinking that, hey, let's show up, get a few elimination points, and let's walk away with that first place prize pool.
Man, 41 points ahead of the Nomads here. And, talking to Baton actually a couple moments ago, the dude was telling me that the Nomads, they kind of just came together as a unit before PMCO. They never played together. They never even chatted together. They literally just formed for PMCO, and now they're here, in the grand finals, almost looking at $4,000. So, wow, what a run. And it's not over yet. So let's check out that next page here because 4 more games to go. It is do or die. You want to get that money, today's the day to pop off. And day 1, we saw C4 on page number 1. Day 1, we saw YKG and even the old gangsters. But yesterday, Enigma, they slid down and now they are on the second page, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that comes down to these other teams were able to take those points that maybe C4 and them sort of teams thought that they'd be able to just get for free going into the second day. And the teams that come to mind for me is going to be the Zombie Boys and Blue Tiam, the teams that were on that lower half of the leaderboard, more so in that middle pack, but 1 or 2 solid games. It's not even like they're dropping an insane amount of elimination points, allowing them to really propel themselves forward. So hopefully these teams are reminded, coming from that first to second day, seeing that leaderboard shift, that the third day, anything's possible. And I know you talked about the, SON fans, Straight Out Nepal fans rooting in the chat. They're near the bottom of the leaderboard. Spam it all you want in the chat. Hopefully, that support, gets to them and really allows them to come to life and shoot up the leaderboard on the final day.
Yeah, I noticed Straight Out Nepal having a lot of fans in the chat. I saw a couple people chatting for Jovi yesterday, actually, after their Game 3 performance, where you and I were kind of chatting like they're kind of coming back here. You can kind of see that they're going back to just simple PUBG Mobile, and when they did that, they were looking pretty good. So I'm going to be rooting for these bottom teams, actually, in at least Game 1, Game 2. Reason being, because in my eyes, they're playing with nothing to lose. Yeah, we get the $300 if we're in 16th. We get the $300 if we're in 15th. So there's not really that big of a change at the lower brackets, right? So in my mind, just come in here and just frag out type of deal. And we saw that from a couple of teams yesterday. One team in particular didn't work out for them, but Fears of God. I believe every match, they were hot dropping Enigma.
Yeah, and I mean, they were taking the fights with old gangsters. Maybe that's why old gangsters started to slip on the leaderboard. And, they're a squad that I've seen them get elimination points, but the placement points aren't really following up. Some of the hot drops maybe don't go their way, per se, whether it's the Sanhok or the Erangel maps. But, if I'm looking at some of these other teams, I'd almost be really avoiding, almost just leaving the drop entirely if it's some sort of contest, because some of these teams that are near the middle pack, maybe they want to keep playing their game plan, try to, just make it work out on the last day. But these teams that have nothing to lose can really throw a wrench in those plans. And I think it was evident coming into, some of those final matches yesterday.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the final day here, day number 3, PMCO North America Grand Finals, $20,000 on the line, 4 more games to go, and this is going to be game number 1 of day 3 here in Enigma.
Yeah, and I think a lot of these teams are going to have to just be looking at the matches and saying, hey, let's just take this one game at a time. If I was ever to give these people advice, it'd be more so just, let's make sure that playing simple PUBG Mobile. You said it best. Jovi, the most of their points were from just those matches on Miramar and Sanhok, where it's just simplify it. Let's not overthink things. I think some people maybe stress too much or overthink things when things don't go their way. Maybe it's just one small thing. But some of these teams have never been in that position of stress or, just pressure from these squads. So, Dave, I'd like to get your opinion on some things, though. We're coming into the Erangel. Do you ever feel like maybe switching the drop spot? I mean, the zones have been a little wonky today. Do you think that ever really plays a part in some of these zones?
I think kind of going back to the topic, if we're a team like Saturn, Shannon Paul, Fears of God, like we're at the bottom, right? And even if we have a decent game, we're only going to climb up like 1 or 2 slots. Like we need to have 2. Holy cow. Hold up. We'll have to put a pin in that because, my dude, this is the final day. All right. Am I counting 4 different teams here? And this is what I'm going to call the classic. All right, Enigma? Getting stinky
the
in Pachinki, man. This is what I mean by getting stinky in Pachinki, man. We got old gangsters. We got Fears of God. Then we got 2 other teams out there in the East. So Daku right now with the Uzi needs to find some bullets, but Illusion with the AKM putting in some work right now.
Yeah, and some of these players are getting some nice guns for the drop. Uzi versus AK, I mean, you either get the high power SMG or the AK, where you only need to really land 1 headshot on the hip fire. It looks like it's going to be the Jerways fan club and C4 on the other side, but this fight with Fears of God is still going on. Patry getting a nice little Uzi spray, but it looks like the squad's maybe 1 player spread out. But Dave, this is complete mayhem right now in Pachinki.
Yes, it is, and I love it, man. To start off the day, it's what you want to see, and we're seeing some Uzis, we're seeing some PP Bisons, we're seeing some AKMs up close and personal. It's going to be old gangsters, their last remaining member here, still alive, just going full-on Rambo mode. Meanwhile, Illusion just crawling, trying to find some ammo to load into that Uzi, trying to buy some time for their teammate to get the wraparound, but oh my goodness, things are not looking good right now for Fears of God. Now we're going to be in a 1v1 situation. We got The shotgun versus shotgun
Ooh.
battle over here. It looks like we got a quick swap to the AKM at the end to seal the deal. And, well, Old Gangster is going to be taking the L on that one. And, wow, what a fight here. And don't forget, we still got 2 other teams on the other side of town.
Yeah, I mean, even if these 2 teams fight, you're still going to probably want to wipe the other team that decided to take their 4v4 on the other side of the map. But Jerway's fan club not given the time for C4 maybe, maybe start getting their feet on the ground. So it looks like Bond is going to be the one that Jerway's fan club is going to be focusing.
His name's Bond, all right? And we've seen Bond put in some work here throughout the weekend. Bond with the UMP. Going to be locking horns right here with the jump shot from the sky. Getting some nice shots in, but Slay able to get into the building for the time being. But the same can't be said for their squad mate, because Bond was able to take him down, but not before Slay got onto the second story. So things are going all types of way right here, Enigma. If you're one of these teams here in Pachinki and you're just locked in it, it's mayhem, man. I can only imagine the comms right now.
I mean, you're forced into it. I'd be almost asking myself, why did we choose to drop here? Who's making the decisions? Maybe they thought it was a WoW room or something. Maybe they think it's a practice room to go against these squads. But Sick is making light work of Jerway's fan club right now. But look at that. You talked about FOG still in Pachinki. Now they're aiming their sights onto C4.
It's what they need, right? Fears of God, they need these points. Yesterday, they almost lost, if I'm not mistaken, like every single hot drop, always taken out really early on. So I can't say they really won this one up against Old Gangsters, even though they wiped them out, but they lost 2 of their squad mates. So really, it's just do or die right now, and I believe that's exactly what they're trying to do. 4 kills, 4 limbs on the board for them, but they're not running away. They're not running away with their tail between their legs. No, they're looking to take the fight with C4 and get a couple more elimination points here, Enigma.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that Fears of God, if they do decide to take this fight, that they're not going to lose any more players, if not even be wiped. These are 3 elimination points that are good for you, but at the end of the day, we've seen teams like 4-2 Nomads and XQT show that, hey, even if you get those early eliminations, we'll pick our own right back up on the later stage. So I'd like to see these teams take a clean fight, whether it's 3 eliminations for Fears of God or 2 for C4. Make it out with not taking any losses, because there's still more of the match. We're only in the first home, Dave. This was a 4-team hot drop, which, I mean, if you ask me how the start of the day would go, I'd say, maybe some teams would fight each other in Pachinki. We've seen that, but not 4 teams doing it.
Would have never guessed, man. Would have never guessed 4 teams looking to get involved here. Really a kickstart their final day here when it comes to trying to acquire as much money as possible on the overall leaderboards that we chatted about in the pre-show. So C4, like we said, day 1, they finished top 8. Day 2, bottom 8. So now they're looking for that comeback here. I believe they're aware of Illusion's position, because Illusion took some shots from that angle not too long ago and really hasn't made any moves since then. And now C4, the trio that is still alive, moving together as a unit. You'll love to see it. QZZ with the DBS just trying to let the slugs fly is going to be able to spot out one of their opponents, and they're just on the run right now.
Yeah, the issue is just going to be Oz, taking this sort of spearhead position. Illusion's actually opted to rotate across the street. Exotic's going to make that same sort of notion as well, but a little bit of a scary spot, because if you're Fears of God and you get, ISO'd out in the building, Illusion's nowhere near to help you. C4 is looking like, a pack of hounds chasing you. Got the trail going on here and you run away. And thankfully for them, C4 made the decision of not going to chase too far forward, because if they did try to cross the road, I mean, we could see the angle from here right now. The Bison, doesn't matter what gun you use and what scope, I'm assuming most of these players are going to be able to hit the shot. So interested to see if this fight, really starts to play out more. If Fears of God just chooses to maybe rotate away from Pachinki, kind of find a vehicle and just rotate in. But Dave, I'm looking at the scores right now, and these teams still took losses. I'm seeing C4, obviously they lost the 1 player with the early engagement. Fears of God, they only have 2 players left alive. I'm not too sure if it's worth to even take this next engagement.
Yeah, taking some mini L's, you can say here. And, well, they're going to be pretty much locked down in Pachinki for the time being. And the fear that I have for both these teams is all this early game fighting is really taken away from their looting phase, right? Meanwhile, we
Yeah.
got teams like YKG rotating to south of Pachinki. We got the zombie boys now leaving school. And
Oh,
to make matters worse for the teams in Pachinki, Papa Blue say, yoink, we're going to Primorsk, baby.
yeah, Primorsk, we're seeing half the zone in water. Maybe we'll see the zombie boys make another botation or something. We saw that on the Sanhok, one of the matches, I believe. But a lot of these teams, we'll talk about it for a bit. Black Mamba holding dead center. 412 Nomads just north of them. But we'll have to put a note in that because it looks like Saturn is pulling up onto the Jovi compound.
All right, Jovi, let's see. Can you defend? We got Saturn on the outskirts. I see one of their players in the buggy kind of just getting picked apart because Jovi, little 2-2 split action going on right now. Kodo in the compound. Chapito on the outskirts. Kodo immediately spotted right there. Thankfully for Kodo, his teammate was there to provide the much needed support, and now the revive. And I'm looking at the mini map. Looks like Saturn, Darwin also bleeding out, and the other two teammates from Saturn not really wanting that smoke right here because, well, they lost 2 early on, so they just want to survive.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if it's just where the teammates were at. I think they might have been split with 2 different vehicles, but the pull-up itself, they had to work into the building. If you don't get into that, you start to get pieced around the outside, and we saw that with, Nikki pulling the first knock on a Darwin, and Chapito, like you said, getting the trade return. Kato doing a little bit of a bait play. So like seeing that from Joey, good little start to them, not losing any players and picking up 2 free little elimination points. We all see in the kill feed, though, straight out of Paul shooting out another Saturn player on the rotate. So you really hate to see it if you're a Saturn fan. One of my more favorite teams, along with, the fan club coming into from the teams from the last chance qualifiers. But unfortunately, maybe just too strong of a caster curse for some of these squads.
Yeah, Saturn had some really good looks when it comes to last chance qualifiers. Can't argue with that, but let's see. Game number 1. Things aren't looking too good. It is looking good for Jovi, though, man. It might be Jovi Sunday out here for the squad, as we do see them with those 2 points already, but we'll get to that here soon. As Casper locked in here with Gunpain in a little grenade battle. Casper between the car and the boulder here, trying to avoid the sightlines from a limb downrange. Not in the best position, but here comes Casper's squad mates trying to pull up, provide that support here. Well, Gunpain not hesitating here, Enigma, getting a point on the board.
Yeah, and I mean, Gunpain recognizing that it's a 1v1 situation, take it now versus later. Alim now having the support he needs from the rest of the squad. And we got to note, this is first and second place fighting on, I believe it is zone 2 of the map. So if Nomads are able to take this elimination with XQTs, this could be their chance to take that first place.
Yeah, we also have to note that Carrie is not playing. Casper is something that we saw in game number 1 last night as well. But let's see, Batong looking to clean up house over here. Trying to land these grenades onto Snow and Wancho in the back lines over here. Fate still going to be crawling on their knees, but Wancho with a huge nade onto Baton right there to really level the playing field. And now it looks like the Nomad, or at least the remaining members, just full on retreating right there. So Wancho's grenade definitely saving the day. Oh, I take that back because Gunpain's pulling up here. I look for the reset, but taking a little bit of blue zone damage. I don't know what that was about here. Hopefully they don't lose their lives from Snow's M4.
Yeah, maybe a miscount on how many players were alive on XQTs. It was 2 up. He was making, the drive back. I guess a little lap around in the blue zone, just trying to
a little honk
get
action.
the healing points back up. But he's not waiting. He's going to be holding them on the edge. He's not going to run away. He's going to try to look for these elimination points. Because if you're Gunpain, in my eyes, you can take another player or 2 out. We saw XQTs when they're in that duo or, trio position. They weren't performing as well as when they were 4-man. So I'm liking the play from Nomads. I only wish that it was more of a clean fight for them.
Both teams now outside of the play zone as well. But regardless, they have an easy path in here. So they're pretty much the only 2 squads on the west, because everybody else here in the east, as we see on that mini map here, we are tuning in with the zombie boys. Julio is going to be bleeding on out, and thankfully for the zombie boys, I see Unique Legacy getting involved, running through Strangers BD, really playing a thorn in the side because they were taking some long-range shots at the Zombie Boys just moments ago.
Yeah, and I think what Zombie Boys does really well is when they're taking these engagements, they're not the team that gets focused in third parties or, gets focused in this middle sort of spot. They're the team that's always, we're taking our pod shots at you. And then Unique Legacy comes around, they take their pod shots. And then we look at these squads, Strangers BD now losing all of their players and stuff like that. I actually believe it's just Voltex being live for them. So if you're some of these squads, I think there's a little bit of finesse maybe with being able to play a spot and not really overcommitting to a fight. You kind of just make noise, make sure no one else is focusing you. And when you start seeing that kill feed pop up of the other team getting focused, maybe that's when you're able to make those plays. So I like seeing it from them. Both of these squads picking up a few free eliminations while really just, kind of chilling for the next zone shift to happen.
Yeah, and Voltex actually able to pop in a buggy and wrap all the way around now north of Quarry. So really able to utilize the chaos right there to continue to survive just a little longer. So shout out to them. But we'll keep tabs. And now it looks like the Zombie Boys and Unique Legacy going to be pumping the brakes for a moment, waiting for that next circle. And oh my goodness, Voltex, what a heads up play on that rotate. Voltex should be able to get some decent placement points from up there because now the teams that were calling for Morse Combe, they got to push out here.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to vacate immediately. We see most of the center zone here, not even before the zone shift, but, towards that south side of court, completely wide open. I believe 412 is around that spot, and they chose to condense down on their fight, leaving open this huge little spot and zone for people to take the quarry space as well. I mean, there's a lot of that mountain range. There's a few of those warehouses on top of the cliffside. And if you're some of these teams like Jovi, you've got people next to you, I think you almost just got to do the handshake and leave. But it doesn't seem like YKG is going to accept that.
Trying to get the drive-by right there from the back seat of the buggy. Getting a couple shots on to 24K, but it is a challenge from that back seat, especially when you're full-on boosting it there. And well, YKG, gotta say, a successful gatekeep for the time being if they can get 1 point out the mix. But over here on the opposite end, this is what we were chatting about a little bit earlier on. Unique Legacy Pika doing some donuts in the buggy, trying to get a run over, but the Zombie Boys are just letting it rip right now. Getting some nice licks in, and well, after Unique Legacy losing one, looks like they're on the retreats here.
Yeah, and Zombie Boys, I mean, it's all about just holding and waiting for the zone to start closing more because you're putting the pressure on a Unique Legacy. They lose a player, they're like, hey, we're not the team that has our back to the inside of zone. We got to push forward. So I like this idea of Unique Legacy, cut the loss and, just kind of rotate into a spot in zone. So, they're able to keep the 3 players alive and be able to play this late game out.
Oh, man, we'll get back to that because I'm hoping it is Jovi Sunday. What is Junior doing here? Junior just playing with their food, doing donuts right there. Now it's up to Kodo in the shack here. Wow. Yeah, Jovi having a decent start. 2 elims in the pocket to start game number 1. But really the zone just not favoring their beach position. And then to make matters worse, YKG was gatekeeping them. Then Blue Tiam over here on the hilltops.
Yeah, I think it's just the choice of the rotation maybe. I think they could have maybe tried going east. It's early enough in the zones where maybe if you full boost, you can go out into Papa Blue and start tanking it a little bit. Now, it is YKG at the compound. We saw them hit some amazing shots there as they were driving by, but I think you got to kind of just go for it. You don't really have this play of going all the way to the west, and we see it here. YKG still playing gatekeep Takato on the inside.
Yeah, what do you do if you're Kato, man? If you're in his shoes, like what are the realistic options here? I don't really see
Wait
much,
a whole zone, smoke it maybe, try to get a knock and a thirst, but YKG is smart enough. They're all hugging trees. I doubt if you get the knock that you're ever really going to be able to thirst. And the buggy itself, it's nice if you're not missing tires, but I'm pretty sure all of them are going to be missing on that, but we'll have to wait and see. It is a stage 4 zone. He's going to be coming into stage 5. Maybe he'll be able to tank a little bit, and everyone kind of forgets what's going on with Kato and stuff like that. But because I mean, they're needing all the points they can get. The start of it was looking solid from them, but the rotations from them, maybe that's the focal point they should be focusing on more. What to focus on, and
There they go.
Unfortunate to say the least. But the zone
It's
shift
tough.
happens, Dave.
Listen, you're pretty much being gatekept by 8 players, right? All 8 of them had your name on their hit list, and unless you had that little flashlight from the Men in Black that wipes everybody's memory, yeah, I think they're gonna sit there and wait for that additional elim point, unfortunately. So YKG now on the push up north. Looks like they will be running into the Zombie Boys, who have been setting up over here for a good amount of time after their fight with Unique Legacy. Crazy in the front lines, and looks like Chico is going to be getting knocked down from one of the Zombie Boys. And, well, Zombie Boys, man, setting up a nice little position. Not in the zone, by the way, but they do have some vehicles to work with to reposition after getting the confirm.
Yeah, and they did take a knock earlier. It looks like they are going to be able to get that reset going on. Hopefully their vehicle doesn't get targeted too much. But Zombie Boys, I mean, looking like a solid game from them. They've been showing on that north side, taking a few engagements, putting the pressure, but not really overcommitting too much. And even with YKG just now, we saw, you know, getting the knock, and I believe a thirst on one of the members. So if you're able to take these fights where you get one elimination point and kind of just focus them later on in the matches, it always works out. But Blue Tiam now with Sentinels. Oh my God, not even a fight. Sentinels mapping out.
My goodness, that fight, that push from Blue Tiam, they were looking to take the push uphill, but they ran into some DVS shots, so that one hurts. Yeah. And well, Sentinels, they didn't even have the whole team there as well, because Jelly's in the zone, kind of keeping tabs on to Executies. So doing a great job with their current split. They should be rewarded with some care packages. I see both of the squad mates on Sentinels being blessed with that one. But over here, YKG now in the zone here, Enigma.
Yeah, I mean, this is the type of squad where I'd be worried getting knocked by, because if you give an opening, 24K, Fears, Joey, all those players have the potential of just taking that 1v2 engagement, spearheading it, maybe going for that 3v3 fight. And with Executies, you know, losing a player earlier on as well, if YKG, remember, you know, because we have the vague kill feed info, Dave. Unless you eliminate someone, or remember which squad number is affiliated with which name that gets popped up when they're thirsted. You're not too sure who it is. So YKG is the kind of team where I feel like they're, you know, they have the knowledge and, you know, they have the information gathering skills to remember that, hey, you know, Executies, the dominant squad in lobby for this game is squad 6. And if we get a knock on squad 6, we're making the push. So we'll have to wait and see. It's a little bit of that, you know, dead space, dead time in the zone until this next stage 6 shift.
So let me ask you real quick before we do get that next circle, because in my opinion, going into Quarry, huge mistake in my opinion. I mean, that's just sealing your tomb, but I want to get your takes real quick. Like, Unique Legacy just full on committing to the trenches of Quarry. What are your thoughts?
I mean, if you get zone shifted down there, it's all right, but I think it's more like a solo play. If we saw Voltax maybe make that play earlier on, we talked about him making that northern shift. It looks like it's actually be a duo for Strangers BD on that side. But the zone shift, I mean, the tomb is like he said it. Unique Legacy is probably not going to be getting that shift pull onto the east side later on. And all these teams at the top, I mean, if you're talking about, you know, Executies or something like that, or Zombie Boys being around either the top or the edge, I'd say, yeah, go for it. But down on the bottom, it's just, you don't even have to peek, you know, to watch them. The TPP aspect of the game plays such a huge part in how you can play spots. And we see it here first with SnowX going for some nades onto Joey.
Yeah, this is going to be the cuties over there with Trio. Fears in the back line. Joey was looking to do some scouting over here, getting within grenade range, but then catching a lot of damage and saying, nope, I am out of here. Going to be going down there. 24K is actually in a buggy going for like an ultra wide rotate. Very interesting play from them here. We'll keep tabs on how that one unfolds. But straight out of Paul, still with the duo. Saw them earlier on. So a lot of teams just kind of trying to play edge here and avoid those sight lines from the teams on top of Quarry. Grab the angles. And here comes 24K rolling in from behind with the surprise attack. You're passing Snow. Trying to cause some confusion right there. Actually kind of getting stuck on the barricade. Wancho peeking their head, but Joey connecting onto Wancho after Wancho tagging 24K. So I feel like that was the moment to make the push, but are they aware of Snow's position here? M4 DBS. Bad boys locked and loaded. Here comes Snow popping up, springing up, trying to get the confirms. There's another one. on the fears, and now it's up to Joey, about
Oh!
50% HP with the UMP. Joey with a massive grenade right there to take off the off angle with Snow. I'm going to be tossing in some grenades. One more to go and a Molotov. Let's get another point on the board. You love to see it, but Executie's got a duo within the compound here. It's like Wancho was able to get picked up. Fate, one grenade as well. Trying to get the confirm. Joey's still 50% HP. Joey's cooking it. Joey's cooking it. Looking for the toss up. There we go. It's cooked to perfection, baby. Joey with the wraparound, but couldn't get the shots off in time. Wancho's DBS sealing the deal right there. But huge fight for both teams. Beautiful, beautiful movements right there.
The jump nade is just immaculate there. I mean, he bounces it off the top of the crate so it doesn't go too far. Gets a trade with virtually taking 0 damage. And unfortunately, Joey didn't have that sort of DBX action itself. And, you know, it all comes down to, you know, if Juancho is able to hit those shots. Thankfully, he did for his squad, but wasn't with that loss. Executie's now to 2 players.
Joey was also 50% HP for most of that fight, too. So shout out to him for really putting on a good show right there. So that kind of opens it up a little bit for Unique Legacy. So listen, I'm going back to Unique Legacy because I feel like they're sealing their tomb is what we're saying here. I feel like that was their moment to attempt to push out while Cuties were locked horns with YKG, but instead they opted to just remain calm.
Yeah. And, you know, they had a vehicle. One of them just rotated into zone. I believe it's Mauricio on that bottom side of the hill. Would have liked to see him almost just send it up. I'm not sure if there's a ramp spot there on Corey. Maybe he could have just sent it up onto the warehouse roof or something. There's some buildings, you know, on Erangel and stuff like that come to mind where if you have the vehicle, you could be, you know, full sending it up the ridge onto the roof. And, you know, some of these compounds that have those sort of spot plays where you can be chilling up there, that would be an insane angle in my eyes. But you know, they still have a bit of zone. I think they're playing a little bit too slow in terms of Pika and stuff like that rotating in. But with these engagements that went on the north and south side, leaving these teams wounded to maybe 1 or 2 players, maybe they're not as confident, you know, really gatekeeping Unique Legacy. They're still Sentinels with a 3-man. They're kind of chilling on this bottom side of the cliff. But I'm assuming, you know, the zone shift's going to be a little bit more quiet. Maybe we'll see a loss or 2 from players, but doesn't seem that might be the case because Zombie Boy's now starting to get a little bit aggressive on a Stranger's BD's position.
Zombie Boys in the chat right now. Give them your support as tis the season to root for Das Zombies here. Only the duo. 3 limbs so far. Julio going for a little fadeaway toss right there. Holy camole! Making it look so clean, Enigma.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't even really have an idea how deep that hill goes, just straight intuition off of it. And it looks like he's got another idea as well with the vehicle play. Oh, gets him one again.
Slow down.
He's still in the car. He's still in it.
Zombie Boys. What?
And this is a duo. This is a duo on Zombie Boys. Really just Julio game right now at this point, but well, I mean, you know, I like the car play, but maybe a bit of a crutch for some of these teams when it comes to getting shot at. But Julio making light work out of Strangers BD.
That was beautiful. Yeah, beautiful grenades from Julio. Chef's kiss, you know, 10 out of 10, whatever you want to say. But looking back at Unique Legacy, looks like Fate does have their number and is looking to call in the instant delivery of a couple more limb points here. Fate, 3 more grenades. Ooh, Fate does have 2 Molotovs here. I would like to see a Molly toss down there possibly. But Fate with the nade, the long-range nade. My dude's got the arm. Trying to get the confirm. Now here comes a push with the M4. Might be looking to just peek on over that hill. Get another point on the board. You're going to be following up with a Molotov. Yes, the spread should get it. Is it close enough, Enigma? So close.
Go farther. They're all one.
It's right there.
A little bit of pre-fire through the flames. And Juancho's Molly actually getting the other player on Unique Legacy, Dave. Didn't see that coming from him.
Oh, we know.
Oh, and wait, they know.
Mauricio's done. Mauricio's done. We saw you, Mauricio. We see you on the stairs, Mauricio.
Oh.
There you go. Unique Legacy going out in 4th. So that is going to be 4 elimination or 4 placement points, but not much else for them here as they did survive a long time. But getting back to the duo from Zombie Boys, and if I'm not mistaken, I saw Sentinels. I saw one of their players rocking the AC Val 9mm. Don't see that very often, so I want to see how that one comes into play here. But 6 eliminations on the Zombie Boys. And this is going to be a 2v2v2. So every single team, all 3 still alive, down to just a duo.
Yeah, and we can't forget, we're coming into stage 9 after the zone shifts. A lot of these players just going to try to, I think Juancho, there we go. Didn't have a vest for a second. I'm not too sure if he was going to find one. Thankfully he did. But we're coming in this 2v2 situation, Dave. Which position are you really looking at in terms of, who you'd really want to be in the shoes of? Do you want to be in the executing position or maybe Sentinels? I shouldn't have even asked you that. I knew.
Yeah, what kind of question is that? Let's see, though. Can we hit them shots onto its fate? Now, you have to assume Executies use a lot of the utility, right, to flush out Unique Legacy. Yeah. So I'm not sure what they're looking like over here. A lot of smokes on Juancho, 1 Molotov, but no more grenades. So keep that in mind as this duo moves forward. Sentinel still on the middle ground here. Waiting for the perfect opportunity, but it doesn't even matter. They're trying to set the trap, but the roles have been reversed here. The Zombie Boys just on something else here in game number 1.
Yeah, and Sentinels, they're this dead center of the zone. Noah just not really able to peek his angle because of Executies, and Jelly trying to play this off angle for his squad, not really even able to give support fire. So it still could be anyone's game, depending how these engagements go, but it looks like the zone's starting to close, and Zombie Boys now taking the first loss out of these squads.
Oh no, somehow Fate was able to loot a couple more grenades, has 4, will be tossing 1. That's a good one, going to be going right over their head, but Julio trying to get the return fire. Fate on the guard tower from above, and Juancho to clean house with the DBS in the front lines.
It's always Juancho, the DBS machine. And now the 1v2 situation. We do have a nade, though, but maybe he won't even get it off. Cancels it. 1v1 situation with Juancho. Wins it. It's a 1v1 nade.
Jelly, Bison, pre-fire, peeking above the ledge right there, but it's going to be Fate. Bison versus Bison. Fate with the drop shot. So close, but Jelly, 1 HP. Getting the win there. 1 HP. My dude had 1 HP, Enigma.
1v2, 1 HP. I mean, who could have said it better than that? It's just like the Bison pre-fire. Both of them had a Bison shooting 50 bullets at each other. The 2-3 you're coming in clutch, saving them. And you noted the drops earlier, Dave. That had to have been the key part for Jelly winning that. Because, I mean, the 3 gear, you're taking the reduced damage. He's full boosted, allowing his squad to secure it. So you like seeing that. I was a little bit questioning the Bison play, but seeing him pull it out like that and hit those shots really changes my mind on that squad.
Fate pulled out the Bison too. When do you see a 1v1 with Bisons? Only in PMCO North America, not the other regions, but North America. Oh my goodness! And then the grenades, Cuties. That whole game were just they were doing they were putting in some work, right? And
yeah.
As if they needed to, right? They have 41 points in first place, and they're still out here just putting in the work here, man.
Yeah, and the first day for Executies, they had those matches where, they played well. But when they lost a player early on, they didn't really perform that well. But today and yesterday,
I forgot about this, by the way.
Wrong.
I forgot Pachinki had 4 teams. I totally forgot that just because the end game was crazy.
Start to finish was just complete mayhem. And I don't even know how to really start with this because some of these teams, they took these engagements, they got a few elimination points, but the zone shift as well. Everything was the bread and butter on the first match, which I would have liked to see at the end. Hopefully, these matches kind of start panning out right. But going back to the nades, we can't even just say Executies. The Zombie Boys nades hitting a little, strong arm from downtown over the ridge. I mean, you can't even see where the player's at. And just... some of these players are really starting to make me, impress me almost. I've been around talent and stuff like that, and I've seen some crazy things, but these players are making are really just standout, stellar performances.
Man, I am just, what was this? We tried to have the sneak attack in the vehicle from behind. We got stuck on a barricade. Joey, 50% HP, almost sealing deal over there onto Executies. And you got Fate with the non-stop grenades, by the way. Fate keep the grenades away from Fate, somebody, please, because if not, they're gonna be winning. But look at this, the drop shot swap to the M4. So both players, starting with the Bison, using all the bullets, having to swap to the M. So both players using all of the bullets in the Bison. That's insane, man. But shout out to Fate. I mean, we don't see drop shots no more either, man. It's the year 2023, and we barely see drop shots.
Well, I think if you have a DBS, it's maybe hard to drop shot. You usually just go for that little quick peek play. But him having an M4 and a Bison, I think, if you're spraying it, you have the mag out there, and you're just trying to air it out for that last little bit of damage. He probably thought, he hit him just to 1 HP, literally, from maybe the boost saving him, saving the grays. But we have the match rankings up, Dave. It's Execute. He's going to be in first place. They had 13 elimination points with only having 6 placements. Sentinels, though, shout out to them, finishing second. This is the latter half, and some of these teams have been, a bit of a reoccurrence a lot of these matches, Dave.
Yeah, huge come up for the Sentinels, who definitely needed that match as not only a confidence booster, but in my opinion, like the momentum needed to just finish day number 3 with 3 more games to go here, Enigma. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was game number 1. We need to go get some water because from start to finish, that was insane. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in about 3 minutes. Game number 2.
It's time to upgrade your PUBG mobile outfits. Join free daily cups for solo, duo, or squads. Win Faceit points. Exchange for PUBG Mobile UC. To customize your account, join Faceit today and earn rewards. Try for free at faceit.com/PUBG Mobile.
Bring the band in. Woo. Well, all right. Yeah, they want me to fit in, but I can't. I'm too different with it. Too advanced to think. You know my intuition. I got bars and ink, but never in a prison. Too far gone, never gonna sit and listen. This is optimism mixed with the best. You get it? What you're seeing is a beast in the flesh. I'm vetted up. I don't need to try to speak for the rest. Always keep it abrupt. Keep it a mess, This is what you get when you're sitting as a vet. But everybody know that you're a threat. With the rest, let's go. We won't fit in a box. We don't quit, we won't stop. Ride us all to the top. We won't fit in your, we won't fit in your, we won't fit in your box. No, we don't quit, we won't stop. No, ride us all to the top. Whoa. We won't fit in your box. No. Fit in your box. Why you try to box me in? I got the key to unlock. I know the locksmith, optics, speak of the loss. I'm eating lobster, chopsticks, freaking the boss. I'll never fit in where I go at. Ooh, boss talk like I'm Boaz. Ooh, why fit in when you know you can stand out still? They remember you more when you hand out deals. Let's go. We won't fit in your box. We don't quit, we won't stop. Ride us all to the top. We won't fit in your, we won't fit in your, we won't fit in your box. No, we don't quit, we won't stop. No, ride us all to the top. Whoa. We won't fit in your box. No. Don't box me in. I do my own thing. Spirit is right within. I got my own way. Riding is loud within. Look at the way that I do quit, we won't stop. Ride us all to the top. We won't fit it up, we won't fit it up. We won't fit it up, lights, no. We don't quit, we won't stop, no. Ride us all to the top, whoa. We won't fit it up, lights, no. Thank you, Ben, for coming out tonight. My name is Sanhok.
Game 1 in the books here, Enigma. My goodness, there's so much to break down, dude. Mustache save, Enigma, ladies and gentlemen. Game 1 in the books, 3 more games to go. Before we get players locked and loaded into this next Miramar, I got to give you a couple moments to just kind of talk to us, man. Talk us through, because you've been here before. You've had your boots on the ground in matches like that. Kind of talk us through on what some of these players might be feeling here today.
Well, I think if you're Sentinels, to say the least, you're on that, top 8 range, you're gunning for, that second place prize pool and stuff like that. It's not out of reach just yet compared to that first slot, but coming into the first match, maybe you had a bit of nerves or stuff like that, but winning the match, especially in a fashion of 1v2 situation, your teammates are all probably, dead silent. Maybe the IGL is like, Tony, do this or this, but usually just let the player do their thing and just clutching it up. I mean, I would expect everyone to be screaming. Hopefully, someone on that team posts it online and stuff like that, whether it's on Insta or Twitter. Try to get that sort of content, because any of that sort of stuff I love to see, whether it's team comms or team play. But some of these other squads, I'm starting to see the gears turn, unfortunately, just not really getting the engine going. And what the team comes to mind with that would be Nomads. They're gunning for XQTs early on in some of these matches, but not really winning the engagements too well. So it's still, signs of life from them, gunning for that first place spot. But unfortunately, XQT is either coming out on top or, just going even in terms of the trades.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, looking for those signs of life from a couple of these teams we see in 12th, 13th, 14th, all the way down. And we kind of saw it in game number 1. I mean, 4 teams. When's the last time you saw 4 teams dropping in Pachinki? I mean, heck, I can't even recall the time. So players are definitely looking for the come up here today. They realize, like, hey, 2 days are done. We don't have many games left to really have these insane winner chicken dinner, 15-point matches, right? And honestly, for one of these bottom teams, that's all it takes to really get you going and, within some decent money to end the day. Of course, Cuties in the top, almost 150 points. Holy cow, slow down. Nomads right behind them with 89. Zombie Boys trying to just secure their foothold in that 3rd place position. So, and of course, Enigma, the zone, once again having 40-ish% water in play. So that's going to be taking away some of this land.
Listen, now, we've talked about zones we've never seen and stuff like that. And I believe in a scrim, there was one of those outer islands, east of Impala we could see there. It ended on one of those. So hopefully a lot of these teams would absolutely hate it. But I'm hoping that it shifts to one of those islands, because, I mean, how hard is it to shoot fish in a barrel? If all these players are swimming and you're first to the coastline, I mean, this could be a money trove for them.
Yeah, and we already see the Sentinels, actually one of the closest teams to circle number 1 with still in their parachutes, actually. So they're going to have a lot of time to either loot where they're dropping down there on the coastline, or just look for some vehicles and just send it to like Impala and just send and run up real early on and really have the advantage over everybody else. Because for the most part on that map, 85% of the teams are all the way out there in the west, so it's just gonna make it all that more difficult for the rotations for a lot of these teams here in game number 2.
Yeah, I mean, I like the point you bring up, maybe just dropping for cars and rotating. Now, Impala, maybe some other teams have the same idea, but if you're playing the safe game with Sentinels, maybe not trying to overheat. I mean, there's always Puerto just south of it. Being on the edge isn't too crazy about it. Doesn't seem like any of them are in vehicles just yet, but we're not seeing a 4-way contest hot drop here on the second match of Miramar. And one point I'd like to bring up, Dave, is we're in the last day. We've already played a match. If you haven't had a solid game 1 and maybe the nerves are carrying over, you need to try to brush them out immediately, because Miramar is still a map where you can play it out. It's not really up to the RNG aspects of the game. It's all about how you move around the map and how you take engagements. Because if you leave it up to Sanhok, I mean, if it really,
Oh no,
does one of those
that's the
mountain
worst.
shifts or cave shifts, you're not really going to be liking your chances. And then going after that, I mean, you're going to the last Erangel. We're seeing these teams really start popping off, and if you're not able to get your foothold here, I'm sorry, but I'm not really seeing the light at the end of the tunnel for these teams.
Yeah, and updating real quick. I want to follow up, but just updating those people in the chat. Casper out, Carry.
Oh,
Actually, no, Carry's still out. Casper in.
Oh.
I'm trolling.
See you at the start.
Yeah. So going back to your point of shaking it off, the nerves. This is day 3, dude. Like 3 more games to go. I don't know, man. If you still got the nerves now, like realistically, what is going to help you? Like a pep talk in between games. What can really help you at that point if you're one of these bottom teams?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's, they have one of those rubber bands on their wrist, or they have one of those little stress balls they squeeze mid-game. But I think you made a good point. But I'm also, reminded of the fact that this is PMCO. Even though this is the grand finals and all that stuff, we're competing for 20K. This is the first tournament for some of these teams. And, even if you don't react to the stress well, at least you know what that feels like. And hopefully, you're able to really apply that to yourself, whether it's, for future stuff or at least for these future matches tonight. For at least, having a solid performance that you'll be proud of coming into the last matches. And this car skin. Now, one skin I've always wanted, we're going to get on this notion now. One skin I've always wanted was either that skin, the little like rat trap kind of skin with the cheese on top, or there was a Hitman, I believe, AK skin set where it was like a bougie, like Jeep UAZ skin, and the only player in competitive that used it was Beowulf. And I had tried so much to roll for it, and I never was able to get it.
Well, and you probably will never be able to. So, shoulda, woulda, coulda here. I'm sorry, man, but at least you're getting paid in UC here to cast this. So the next skin, hopefully, you could get the best skin out there. And I think this is the one I was looking at actually for October. But kind of going back to like the nerves, right? And I think it starts with before the games even start. Almost, you want to make yourself comfortable. You want to get your tea set aside. Just anything that like you have a routine, right? Set up a nice little routine. Maybe you do some push-ups, For me, it's my mom's macaroni and fish sticks with ketchup, like a comfort meal, have that comfort food for you before the game. So I think it's all about just preparation. And kind of on that point, I kind of want to segue here when we are talking about preparation. The Nomads, man. I know I talked about it in the pre-show very briefly, but the Nomads, talking to Baton, this team came together right before PMCO. Never chatted, never played, and they're popping off, dude. And one of the reasons, I know we got a fight going on right here. Let me wrap it up. But one of the reasons is because of the preparation. Baton told me they don't do anything but VOD reviews. So they know exactly where teams should be throughout the entirety of the matches. And I got to say that preparation has them in second place, in my opinion.
Yeah, and preparation is what a lot of these teams hopefully can start doing now. But Old Gangsters is one of those teams that I felt had good preparation coming into these matches. Unfortunately, starting to have a bit of a slip and slide with the performance. But right now, we're going to see an engagement with Blue Tiam already having one knock Dave onto the Blue Tiam squad. Oh, and make that a first.
Yeah, Blue Tiam. Oof, that one hurts. But Blue Tiam, I feel like, is definitely a team that ramps up as the night progresses. So they always kind of start slow. And every single game after like game 1, game 2, they start to pump it up just a little more. So I don't know, man. I think next game and game 4, we should really expect a completely different Blue Tiam if we are just to look at their historical games here. But listen, everybody wants a piece of the pie here, all right? C4, hearing the shots, seeing the OGs taking some gunfire, taking some grenades onto Blue Tiam. They're rolling up right behind with their own grenades as well, man. So now the OGs, who were, in my opinion, almost able to take out Blue Tiam, they're getting backstabbed by 4 different enemies holding grenades, man. This is
Yeah.
rough, dude. I mean, good for C4, but the OGs, they're gone.
Yeah, that was just
gone.
that was a bombing zone. I don't even think I heard a bullet get shot from the C4 squad other than maybe that first initial knock. And we see Blue Tiam, while that was going on, the solo just drove away. He's like, "Yeah, I'll let you guys take the fight. This is what
Thanks,
you get for
guys.
fighting us on the compound." So C4 though, they had that early engagement on the first match, and the second one, I mean, reaping the rewards for their aggression. Sentinels, though, still keeping a bit of pressure from that last match. Unique Legacy now losing one at the compound.
Yeah, Unique Legacy looking to do some rotates out here are going to be riding right through the Sentinels. My dude pulling out the corn suit, MVP in my opinion, but catching some bullets from Riz King. But look at this, right from behind, Pagel with the support, able to knock out Riz King. But Nosh with the M24 and on to full on Rambo mode right there. Nothing but bullets. Is going to be able to provide the support for the Riz King and just in time as well. So a little smoke action should be able to pick up Riz King and continue pushing forward. But Darwin, huge grenade onto Russell.
Yeah, I mean, the fighting is just not stopping. All these teams taking their own little mini skirmishes. Chalanko going for that little thirst play onto Russell. And it looks like S1 already actually has another player knocked as well. So a lot of these teams, I'm not sure if they're looking for those edge zone early game engagements or just got caught out off rotate, but 2 free elimination points now for Sander, not losing any players.
Good luck. Good luck. And quick update, C4 actually chased down the solo from Blue Tian, who was able to evacuate, find his shack. So they chased down the dude, took him out, and now they're pulling back to where they originally pushed in the first place with the third party. So talk about thirsty, man, and I respect it because C4, they need every single point they can get here on the final day.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of, Jukes likes making the notion of it as just taking things into your own hands. C4, they came into that second day, maybe feeling good and just a little bit of lower standard maybe of play. They didn't play that well. Coming to this third day, they want to make sure that they're the ones taking the gunfights, taking the initiative on some of these choices the teams have in the lobby. And thankfully for them, I mean, it's going well for them so far. They're picking up some decent elimination points each match. And one thing I'd like to note as well, with all these teams taking these skirmishes and it's, more so being one-sided, it opens up a lot of the zone for these teams to play. But Open Crazy kind of just, he's vibing, but they know he's there. Wait a second. I had the faith, Dave. I had the faith.
I don't. It was Crazy AFK. What was that? But maybe Crazy's like, hey, if I lay still enough, nobody will see me. Nobody will see me. So, unfortunately, not working. So let's see. Zombie Boys now 3 up after Crazy just kind of laying there. Oh no, popping the cheese. It's not like this. So yeah, Zombie Boys. I guess kind of going back to what you were saying. Do they take the fight? Do they try to get revenge onto Strangers BD? So the next circle did pop, and both teams do need to reposition. Looks like Fears of God actually going to be another squad kind of ahead of them, north of Los Leones on that main road. So we see them out there in the distance. And then to make matters worse, the one team you do not want to be near at all, X-Cuties in the north. So X-Cuties are going to have a lot of power in their hands now when it comes to dictating who can rotate where when it comes to Fears of God, the Zombies, and Strangers BD.
Yeah, most of these teams that are kind of out of the zone will make note of the map once more as, they're all on this western side of the map. Zombie Boys now kind of seeing the pressure of, X-Cuties holding a spread, kind of edge zone. We have FOG holding them as well if they go to the south side, which looks like that's going to be the choice they take. But I mean, if you come into some of these zones and you're really taking that edge game engagements, you got to be prepared for spots on Miramar and stuff where it's this flat terrain. I mean, you don't have those dips and crevices to kind of weave the car in and out, save the HP of it, and not get blown up. Because, I mean, if you go down the road and you're driving, a truck, it does not have nearly as much HP as a bus, nor does the Murado, with the speed or stuff like that. So some of the vehicles are definitely not the choice I'd have when it makes certain these rotations, but you got to work with what you got. And we see here, FOG kind of just vibing right now. I like this spot, actually, right on top of the mountain.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ooh.
Drive-by.
A little bit of drive-by action,
And
missing
out.
a couple shots right there, kind of letting 2 points slip between the fingers here. They are going to be on the cliff tops, overlooking Strangers BD, but really can't do much for now, as now Strangers BD are going to be inside of the compound. Let's see, second chance, G9. Casually just driving by after hearing their teammates say, hey, man, these guys, you got this. You can drive, trust. So, yeah, they're going to be looking for these elims here. Just, it's
One thing
a
I'd have to
tough one,
note.
though. It's tough.
One one thing I'd have to note, Dave, is we talked about the quarry spot with Unique Legacy,
Mm-hmm.
and it's you being down below and up top. This is kind of looking like the same thing, just a few different teams. Because if you're Strangers BD, I mean, you have the warehouse and a few crates, but I mean, your car can only take so many bullets into it. And if you're FOG, I would definitely be holding this team out into the edge zone until you have to move.
Oh,
Obviously,
G9.
though, I mean, I'm looking at the map and he gets
Oh,
knocked on the
wow.
edge, but this east side is
Okay.
completely congested, and none of them are in the zone, Dave.
Yeah, no one in the east side, so we're gonna have a lot of fights going over there. But a huge come up when it comes to Fears of God, I believe, still in the zone from their high ground, so they're gonna be overlooking Strangers BD and also the XQDs. So we'll keep tabs on them. Hopefully, they can acquire some points over there. So the fan club down to just a duo over here
Oh, man.
outside of the next play zone. They got the Sentinels, we got the Riz King over there with the M4 looking for some vehicles. But oh no, Fears of God. I was looking at him earlier on. I was like hoping that they get some points from the hilltops, but now Illusion looking like dude's gonna be the next prey over here for the cuties. And yeah, Casper finding an Illusion right there. Here comes Fate trying to get the drive over in the smokes here. Z66 with the shotgun though. Okay, trying to put in some work, going for the heal right there. Does have the smoke to create some soft cover, but guess what? The cutie's like, listen, you can smoke yourself all you want because we got flashes, we got grenades.
Oh, I can't see.
Oh, he still got to knock through the flash, but when it comes down to it, the teamwork from XQT's just too strong.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a squad where you don't want to give them the knock because they're obviously going to be pushing you and making you regret peeking that angle. But one thing I'd like to note as well is that team was so dominant in that fight because it's never a 1v1. It's always a second player either ready to stop in their buggy or, maybe just a pre-fire over a rock. Even if it's just one or two bullets, we've seen the difference, at least with the last match, of, what one bullet difference can do to some of these players. So really nice to see. I think if you're some of these teams and you look at executives, you don't think of them as being a Goliath sort of team or gods compared to you mortal men. You look at them and say, hey, what are they kind of doing? And just simplify it being, hey, they're just taking engagements together. They're not doing things alone. And, there's a lot of things you can learn from a team such as this where, they've had the experience and it shows, but also just the prowess and the skill and the mindset you need for this. So really hopeful that these teams, they come out of this PMCO, obviously with a bit more cash, but obviously, the experience they need.
$6,000. I mean, that's going to feel good, right? But yeah, the experience and like to kind of put a bow on that, they always have each other's backs in every single fight. And really, that's what's been keeping them going here and just looking like that dominant force that they are in the lobby. So we'll keep tabs on them as they are able to get the pickups, heals, and continue just trucking along here. Snowballing, as some would say, in the lobby. But over here, Jovi looking for a pull-up over here onto Saturn. So Saturn, thankfully for them, they have some cover to work with because Sentinel's also down there in the distance. But Jovi now smoking the windows, looking to breach the compound here. Chapito able to bolt on in, get a heal up here. Let's see, we got a couple M4s, a couple UMPs. Jovi all locked in the closet. Oh, somebody from Jovi's got a MG3, but we can't even use it because Jovi no longer in the match here. Enigma.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the crate weapon. I didn't want to say it just yet, and we all spotted it, but not even shooting a bullet off. So Saturn reaping the rewards. Hopefully they pick that up and put it to use because, I mean, that gun's insane. But Crow right now, who's always been insane the last 3 days, picking up the first elimination for the team. They usually hold these sort of early game spreads. You can see it on the top right, kind of just vibing. But Sentinels now starting to feel the pressure. They already lost one player. They were the winners of the first match, but can they do it again, Dave?
The MG3 delivery service right there, the Insta. Love to see it. But yeah, looking at the Nomads here, let's see. They got a little split going on right now. Crow going to be really far from Baton, no longer in the play zone as well. So curious to see if Crow can group up with their teammates. Now would be the time, because it looks like the Sentinels are going to be actually pushing the bruised and battered Saturn players who are still alive. We still got a fan club member with the M249 all the way out there. And look at this, Saturn. They are standing their ground, Enigma. They are not allowing anybody to push them out of this warehouse. You'll love to see it, man. They're putting up some numbers right here as the duo, 70 limbs so far. And look at that, Baton with the help from above, I guess you can say, taking out Riz King. Can we get the confirm over here? So Saturn, they do need to push out of here eventually, but they are standing their ground, Enigma.
Yeah, I mean, what's another squad if you've already just wiped Jovi, who had a crate weapon, of all things, you know? It's not like they're scared of taking these engagements. They're, you know, just about in zone, maybe comfortable enough for them to stay and, you know, put their 2 feet down in the sand and take the engagement. It looks like Sentinels now, a little bit of a reset coming in and forcing another 2v2 fight in the compound.
This is the Saturn compound. If they win this, I'm going to call this the Saturn compound forever. But Jelly cooking a grenade, going to be tossed that one. The ricochet off the wall is able to connect. Now there's just one more Saturn player. Oh, man, this is going to be a 1v1. Riz King does have the health advantage. AKM, here's the vault from the Saturn player. Okay, actually going for the pickup. So our homie from Saturn, the last one alive, trying to get the heal off here. If they had a Molotov, if they had a grenade, this would be the opportunity. And here comes the push here. UMP pre-fire, 15 bullets, going to be opting to go through the other door, back and forth. But the third party, Baton, still the eagle eye in the sky, just overlooking this the entirety of that engagement. Getting the final blow, the final laugh right there.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Saturn, I believe the player maybe even canceled his med as soon as he vaulted out the window. So wasting those 4 or 5 crucial seconds needed, because if it's a med versus a revive, it's 5 versus 10 seconds. Unfortunately, maybe costing his squad dire points to move up the leaderboard. And a squad now that's still feeling the pressure. Zombie boys, it's down to just 2. Rivas might be able to get the reset to make it 3, but I mean, it's not looking good for some of these squads, Dave. You're on the edge. You're not really, you know, in a comfortable position to put shots back. Maybe this next zone shift will be your saving grace.
Yeah, hopefully for them. I'm loving the Nomads, though, man. They are putting in so much work down here in the south. Fortunately for the other squads in the lobby, they're no longer favored in the zone, because both the Nomads, the duos that have their split, they're holding down 2 opposite cliff tops who they just had sight lines for days. And we see it in the Elam feed. You know, they keep getting some licks in. So now they have to move, so that's good for everybody else. They should have an easy approach in the next zone, though, because not many people are in the south. Who are you looking at, though? You saw the zone. Who do you got your eyes on, Enigma?
Well, I've got it on C4 because it must be the grenade day or something. They just show the team stats for them. 4 out of 6 of their eliminations for this match have been from just frag grenades. So hopefully all these teams can maybe start getting their little Neo cosplay on for Halloween or something, because if you're not dodging them, a lot of these players are hitting them. And we see Jerway's fan club now doing maybe the same thing on a Black Mamba. Big nade here. This could be it.
21. 3 nades. Cooking that one.
Oh, big nade!
Cooked to perfection right there. 2 Black Mamba players are going to be down. Q21, 150 bullets in the M249. Going to be opting to get the thirst over here. And Black Mamba no longer playing. We'll see you on Sanhok.
Yeah, YKG helping a little bit with that. I believe Chico or Joey had 1 knock earlier on, but I think they have an idea. It's Jerway's fan club having just 1 up. He's going to get thirsted out. And a lot of these players that have been in these solo spots aren't getting away with it today, Dave.
Let him live, man. He's just a guy with an M249. Let him live. Looks like Q21 did get the heal. Is going to be in a little trench down there. for the time being, avoiding the sight lines from YKG. Looks like YKG kind of pumping the brakes, resetting, pushing back, not opting to go ultra aggressive and crest over this little hilltop they have. So Q21 also finding a vehicle, should be able to survive just a little longer. Fortunate for them, YKG, they're currently under fire here from multiple teams. Fate in particular, up there on the hilltops.
Yeah, and for these squads, it's a lot of making sure that you're not getting caught out on a flat in the open. Some teams make a real big note of when you take shots, you have some sort of cover next to you. For example, we look at Wancho here. Even though he's kind of in the open, he's got a little bit of a ridge towards the people he's peeking at. So if he ever gets knocked, he can get the reset off. But Casper, though, now, don't think 412 Nomads knows of his position. Might be a nice little off-angle spot to get an opening for the squad.
Tommy boys were taken out too on that rotate. Q21. Looks like YKG had your number after all. Checking the only shack in the zone over here on the east side. Hey, respect the play. But talking about respecting the play, it looks like our cuties were able to get a knock on the Nomads over here and immediately popping in vehicles, pressing the envelope, getting within grenade range here. Casper still from above. Another knock onto Baton. Nice trade right there. Here comes its fate, just full on sending it. Up close and personal.
Oh, a little bit mismade there.
A little miss there. Watch out. The nerves, man. That's me. It's me throwing grenades at.
Yeah, you see the nameplate up above? Executies, though, with that position with Casper, though, allowing this sort of just free fall, little hell rain down on the 412 Nomad squad. Seems like Gunpin, though, is going to try to get a little bit of an action back towards the squad.
What an interesting position from both teams to take this fight. Nomads beneath the cliffs. I see a limb in the actual vehicle trying to get some additional sight lines, maybe even healing up over there. And then you got the cuties on the flat top of the cliffs here. I don't believe any other team really has sightlines on this, so this is going to be a clean fight between the two different teams here on the edge. Next circle does pop, is going to force them to push out just a little bit. So let's see, what do the cuties opt to do here? Looks like they're going to be pulling back and prioritizing the zone, actually, and not the fight.
Yeah, you could still even leave a player or two on the mountainside because it's going to be Nomads that are in the real dire position of coming in. X-Cuties left their spot to the aggression for you. It wasn't vice versa. So we see Nomads now having to make this play in, and it was YKG holding that south side of the ridge. So I'm expecting that team to not make that rotation without losses. So I have to wait and see for that. But I'm also seeing a few solos left alive. So it looks like the last player straight out of Nepal wrapping it up right next to, what do you know, a 412 Nomads player.
Yeah, timing is everything, and Wancho pulling back there was huge because C4 were actually in the process of backfilling where the cuties were holding it down, like you said earlier on. So Nomad's still able to survive. We got Joey, we got Fear still alive representing YKG here, trying to avoid Papa Blue. Gunpain connecting on to Joey. Now it's up to Fears here, but there's two different teams in the area. And Nomad's actually a limb. Oh, in the front. Oh, whoa! Hold the front door.
Wait a second.
Wait a second. Mistakes made? Question mark? Yes. Oh,
listen,
man. Well, that's
the
one way
gas
to go
cans are deadly. They're deadly.
True.
I'd be a little upset about it.
And Vortex? Vortex W?
Yeah.
Like,
an outplay. Maybe he placed it there. Maybe he had the gas can there. Oh, that's tragic to say the least. But if I'm someone on YKG, like if I'm Joey or someone, and I see my teammate and I'm calling out, watch out for the gas can, and he shoots it to try to remove it and gets knocked, I would just start laughing. There's nothing else to it, and that's a squad that's playing for fun and stuff like that. I would just be having a blast about it.
Yeah, we already kind of chatted YKG in the year 2024, looking for the revamp here, new IGL. So when it comes to this particular tournament, they're just trying to have a good time and get some money. So here comes Nomads, now pushing off of the cliff that they were holding down for a good amount of time. A limb going to be hiding behind that really skinny tree. Snow will be spotting them out there in the distance. C4 still being alive. So when we look at the 3 teams still alive, we got first, second, and then C4, who honestly need this win if they want to rack up some additional money. Casper with the M4 running across the open field here right now, able to get behind another boulder. Bond, there's C4. That's what we're looking at. C4. It's a huge come-up game for them here, Enigma.
Yeah, I mean, they've already had the early elimination points. They're sitting at 8 eliminations total, I believe, right now. Possibly able to make that into the double-digit range. But you got to remember, this is a 3-way fight. It's not just a 4v4 situation. You're wanting to make sure you have everyone left alive, especially against a squad like Executors, because we've seen what they can do at a player disadvantage and stuff like that. Still be able to get the shots ringing down range. But right now, I mean, we're at stage 9. I didn't even realize it till just now. And I mean, the prime positions right now is going to be who has the elevation. And unfortunately, Nomads is, not having that.
Yeah, Nomad is really stuck in a tough position here, not only with Cuties, but also C4. So Nomad's creating a little smoke tunnel, you can say. Gunpain going to be getting traded right there from the free fires through the smokes. And now here comes C4 trying to attempt the same thing, trying to just create that soft cover so they can push closer to the center. As we know, it just centers up from here. So it's going to be a 3v4. C4 on the low ground. Oh, and they got Wancho above. So Wancho's going to play such a huge role right now for the X-Cuties.
Yeah, I mean, he just can't get knocked. That's the only ordeal. Just make sure you don't give him the opening. Don't make it a 3v3 situation, because even if, he hits a med out in zone and beams you, I mean, it'll be worth its weight in gold. All you have to do is just stall. But it looks like X-Cuties getting a little bit aggressive on the situation.
Oh, yeah, and for good reason, too. I mean, Wancho above, going for that drop shot, swap to the shotgun, and sealing the deal right there. So X-Cuties getting really aggressive because they had Wancho above, kind of pinpointing exactly where those enemies were, keeping them just locked down. Yeah, they had the smokes, but they also had to move outside the smoke so they can see moving forward on where they can exactly go. So Cuties, another chicken dinner, Enigma. This point gap is going to be so big, man. The $6,000 at this point. I mean, what do you, X-Cuties, what are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, the 6,000 is, maybe give some points to the other squads, make them feel good and stuff like that. But, I mean, it just seemed like the prowess that they're showing in all these matches, just one above the rest. And the point spread obviously proves it. But C4, we'll talk about the other team because it's not just first everyone is interested in. C4, picking up the dire placement points and elimination points they needed. They did have a few eliminations that first match, not more so making it into the late game. But right there, I mean, the Miramar seemed like they were able to limit themselves after those first few fights and really be able to take that advantage into the late game.
Yeah, definitely a big come up for C4. And when we're chatting money, second place, as a reminder, $4,000, third place, $2,500, and fourth place, $1,500. So all these teams with only 2 more games to go, they got their eye on the prize, and that is making their bank account number go up, hopefully here. So with the Cuties getting another win in the pocket, well, that almost is going to be sealing the deal here, in my opinion, unless something remarkable happens. So like a back-to-back 20-kill game for 2 teams or the same team, right? Like it's going to be a challenge, is my point.
Yeah.
But I think that opens it up a lot for like the second place, the third place to really give it their all here with 2 more games to go and really try to capitalize on getting some more money. But yeah, Jovi, MG3, man, look, pre-fire that bad boy. Pre-fire that, man.
Start shooting.
Start shooting.
When it's got 100 in it? It's got like 100 in it. It's a light machine gun for a reason. It's not like it's got
light
a 30
machine
round
gun.
mag. Light, yeah. I mean, start letting it loose. And since it's a 7.62, you're not really needing many, bullets into the guy to knock him. But I mean, looking at some of these highlights, it reminds me of, just what really went on with some of these edge placement teams. And, if they're really able to start making changes on the leaderboard, because C4, I mean, they went from 3rd to 9th, from first to second day. The third day now, it looks like they're trying to shoot back up the leaderboard. And hopefully some of these other teams have that idea. Zombie Boys seems to have a bit of a consistent performance in my eyes, at least, maybe being able to stay in that top 5 contention. But, there's a lot of teams on a leaderboard that are in that, 15, 20 point range where one good game, even if it's not you getting first, could get you, a few extra $100.
Yeah, exactly. So when it comes to C4 now, starting to pick up the steam here. If I'm Zombie Boys, they've been super consistent when it comes to that third place on the overall. Like, these teams are going to start to get worried now, and they're going to have to think in the back of their minds, like, do we take this fight? Do we make that rotate? Because one wrong move could mean the difference between $1,000 possibly, right? Just one wrong move. So the stress levels for a couple of these teams, like on the cusp when it comes to the big money, they're going to start to get a little nervous here, especially with the teams at the bottom, Enigma, who are kind of just like hot dropping, just pushing anything they see, loading up on grenades, trying to get run overs. Like, it's going to get even more hectic as we only got 2 more games to go.
Yeah, and I mean, it's all about what those lower teams choose to do. Everyone likes talking about what do they do if they drop on, those top teams. Now, I wouldn't drop on executives, of course, at all, but those teams that are on that borderline, maybe you just don't like them or they rubbed you the wrong way one of the matches, and you try dropping on them, I mean, that could be the real spoiling point for some of these squads of, missing out on a few $100s. So hopefully they have those sort of fail-proof plans, I guess you could say, of preventing those sort of notions from happening. But, I mean, coming into Sanhok and Erangel for the last 2. We'll have to wait and see.
Yes, sir. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to send to a quick break. We'll be right back with some Sanhok. What up, everybody? We are back. 2 more games to go. Sanhok coming up next. We got Mustache Dave with the mustache, almost Mustache Enigma next season. Keep tabs on that here. But, ladies and gentlemen, let's pull up the overall leaderboard. And just in case some of you guys are keeping tabs on the numbers, there is going to be sort of a change. -16 for Executies because one of their players left the voice chat last game here, Enigma. So, very interesting. You got to stay in the voice. You got to follow them rules, man. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's written in black and white. You can't really be, cutting corners like that. And especially if, you're a team at the top, it just, almost just like a slap in the face to the competitive rule set of PUBG Mobile. So I'm happy to see that sort of stuff, holding these players to a competitive standard, hopefully across all aspects of that sort of rule book they have in place. And it does change every once in a while. You're always free to ask, the admins and stuff like that if you're playing. Some things are more appropriate. So, I'm happy to see that, rules are being enforced and stuff like that, but just unfortunate to see from a team like Executed.
Yeah. Unfortunate, but they should be still feeling pretty confident with, 50 points ahead of second place. So even though losing that 16 because of leaving voice comms, they're still going to be up there with a nice little point gap between them and second. So this is going to be the overall. We got Nomads in second, currently looking at that $4,000. Zombie Boys still in third, looking at that $2,500. And then the Sentinels showing up here in that fourth place spot. So honestly, though, my eyes have to be on C4 after that last game, making a huge come up here, Enigma.
Yeah, I mean, they're at 42 total elimination points, 3-way tie for the teams above them. Blue, Tiam, and Sentinels just having a few more placement points above them. But, I mean, it's still anyone's game in my eyes, especially with this next match being Sanhok. It's really just, who's praying to the zone gods more and where the zone shifts. So I'm interested to see what kind of curveballs come with that. But unfortunately, some little fastballs, some, little meatballs, I guess you could say, still being the same thing near the bottom. Jerway's fan club, Joey, Fears of God, unfortunately still holding up the bottom of the leaderboard. And, it's a 16-team tournament. It's the grand finals. Someone's going to have to be on the bottom. So I can't really harp on them too much. Someone's going to have to hold, the bottom of the stick. It's just how it is for me. So one team, though, I'm kind of interested in seeing more. They still have the chance of moving up. Would either be YKG or straight out Nepal. Both of those teams have been, getting a few eliminations on the day. Interested to see how these last 2 matches go for them, though.
Yeah, definitely feeling loose, and kind of just to add on to the fact that we are going to have some teams at the bottom. I mean, that's just how leaderboards work. I have to remind everybody, these teams went through the meat grinder to even get here. They went through opens, they went through groups, and depending on groups, you went to winner's bracket, loser bracket, and then we actually had last chance qualifiers right before the grand final. So there were a lot of games, a lot of competition you had to go through to even make it to this weekend. So just that simple fact, right? All those lobbies, the fact that they made it here is an achievement.
Yeah, and I think it's just mentally draining as well, to play that long and to come this far and stuff like that. Just remind yourself that, hey, let's have fun with it. Let's just do our thing. And hopefully it relieves a little bit of pressure, that weight off your shoulders for these next 2 matches. Because, I mean, it could be anyone's game. Jukes and I saw it with the last chance qualifiers last day when we found out that YKG, was going to just, play a little more open, play a little more smooth and just open. Yeah. Double win. Both Aaron kills on the last day. So, I mean, if any of these teams, if they choose, have that mindset, it could be just the switch they need to be, hey, we're going to be winning this match. So, I'm interested to see how it goes, Dave. But for the teams you're eyeing, who are you really looking at for Sanhok here?
This is kind of an easy one. I've been cheering for them. This is an easy pick. You already know who I'm going with here. I talked about them day number 1. The Zombie Boys. I'm just happy that they're in third place. Now, I'm bringing them up because they have a little point lead, right? But they need to continue to try to get some consistent points, because last game, I believe they got 1 point. So not where you want to end up with having so much money on the line, because between third and fourth, that's $1,000 difference, and $1,000 is a lot of money. So I would hate for them to have only 2 more games to go and kind of just lose sight of prize here. But ladies and gentlemen, game number 3, Sanhok PMCO North America Grand Finals, $20,000 total prize pool here tonight. 2 more games to go, Enigma.
20,000. And I mean, if you're leaving it up to the last 2 matches, hopefully, you know, things go your way, because I mean, if it's like the first match where it's a 4-team contest hot drop and you're really taking those engagements, I'm a little bit worried, because now you're leaving it up to, you know, what gun spawns you get and stuff like that. And we do see, it looks on the map, some teams actually hot dropping each other. So I'm interested to see, Dave, which
YKG?
fight are you really looking at? YKG switching it up.
Switching it up. We got YKG on to OG. So many G's there. And then over here, we got Black Mamba on to Sentinels. Dude, Jelly popping off. Nosh is going to be bleeding on out. We got Jit with the UMP. So Black Mamba's down to just 2 here. So we got a lot of hot drops. And I think Fears of God up there with Blue Tiam. A lot of early game engagements here on this Sanhok map. And this is what you predicted, Enigma.
Yeah, and I mean, the early drops are always, you know, the most entertaining to watch. And it's not like Sanhok has any, you know, dull moments with it being such a small map for these teams to be near each other. But one team that I'm really interested in seeing how they play is this boot camp fight, YKG. Teams back in the day used to be obsessed with taking these sort of 4v4 fights. One team either lands lobster, the center building is what we call it, or you land on the outer edge. And look at this. This is some plays that I remember seeing years ago. As soon as you know you play the lobster building, you need to work for the outer edge. And Chico, we could see there on that far north side, starting to clear out, regroup with the squad, and maybe start flushing the OG roster out. Because we got to remember, there's a time limit on this. You're going to have to do this in some sort of fashion, maybe within the next 30 seconds to a minute. Or else you're going to have those third-party potentials start coming in and really start ruining your day.
Yeah, third-party potential teams to look at, probably C4, you know, moving out of Paradise. And all night long, C4 has been the team taking the third parties too, because they recognize that they need the points here to get that money. So totally agree with you here. Both these teams looking like they're going to be kind of big chilling for the time being, unfortunately. Kind of waiting to see if their opponent can make that mistake and get the initial knock here. I still have Joey with the grenade, kind of anticipating the push here. But I totally agree, man. Both these teams, the clock is not on their side, especially with C4 out there in the distance.
Yeah, and C4, I mean, we'll make note of it a little bit more, as just that squad itself has been so proactive with, you know, even if their first game goes rough, they're still looking to play with the aggression. They're not really pumping the brakes just yet when things don't go their way. They're willing to go back and try it again. And I think some teams give up on strategies too often, too early. Think, you know, maybe it's a good play. It's just 1 or 2 small things that don't work out right. But this fight, you know, I'm happy to see it's Blue Tiam versus Fears of God. And no one really has lost a player just yet. So actual early engagement where it's not a 50-50 for guns. A straight up 4v4 fight.
Talking about the straight up fight, we got Junior over here with the DBS. What are players going to learn, though, Enigma? I got to ask you, man, that you hear your opponent has the DBS, you know, when are you going to learn not to just continue to push that?
Well, the scary thing is if you don't have it yourself, but I mean, you can always just nade them like that. Doesn't matter if they have a DBS if you land it on the head.
This is true, man. This is true. Blue Tiam. Remember yesterday, one of their squad mates kind of got stuck in the open, kind of going for a similar play like this. Looks like they learned their lesson. They're going to be playing a little more grouped up here this time around. You'll love to see it. So Z66 and Illusion. Now, in the back line, Z66 is cooking that one al dente here. Let's see what we can do here. Blue Tiam looking to get some more points on the board here. We were talking about it, man. This is a team that ramps up as the night progresses. And, well, a squad wipe here early on could be the turning point.
Yeah, and this and Saturn Esports were my teams I was really looking at in terms of the last chance qualifiers, you know, teams that qualified. Now, Blue Tiam is, you know, really just beating my expectations on, you know, what kind of idea their placements would be coming into the final day. And, you know, they're in that top 5 ranks. They're those team that, you know, has kind of proven that they're able to, they're willing and are able to learn and adapt to these sort of situations. And it's apparent because, I mean, you just noted it. They were able to play for that, outer edge on the second day. Didn't really work out. They switched it up. They learned from their mistakes and made the changes. And right now, I mean, it's reaping rewards with this 4v2 fight.
Oh, ouch.
Wait a
Okay,
second.
I love that the duo. Holy cow, the duo from Fears of God with the DBS is holding down the corners right now. Working as a unit. Oh no, Blue Tiam, 2 of their players instantly thirsted. Finally, someone's going to be doing something with the Vector out here, but don't count him out quite yet.
Caster's curse. That's all I can say. I mean, I give him the benefit of the doubt.
What I meant is don't count him out yet for the lobby. All right, they still got one more game.
Yeah.
Yes.
One more game. It's not. No, but unfortunately.
They got 2 points. All right, they got 2 points. They flushed 2 Blue Tiam players there. That's a win.
Yeah, and I mean, you're wanting all the points you can get. So, 2 is better than none. I thought they were gonna just, get wiped clean off the floor, but nice to see.
So that happened.
Yeah. Just chilling. A lot of these
And
teams,
OG
taking
also happened, by the way. Just a little update. OG are gone. As you can see, YKG have 4 elim points. So that also happened.
Yeah. No losses on that squad. So clean little wipe. Now these people are starting to take their little midnight strolls, or I guess midday strolls on the buggies and stuff like that. I'd be kind of worried.
Nice map.
Old Gangsters, Dave, is I believe one of those elbow-to-elbow teams with YKG, and I tried making the notion of maybe 412s doing that with XQTs, but other parts of the leaderboard really starting to gun for each other for that extra prize pool. And the prize pool, I can't stress enough, is a huge stress factor for some of these teams, especially if you're near the middle. You go into the games and you're thinking, how does this team perform? Your Hawk and the kill feed, how many elimination points are they getting? Are they alive still in the lobby? And you're almost praising teams that you're not really fighting for, getting eliminations or knocks onto those teams, as tough as it might be to say. But, for these players, I'm really interested to see what kind of stress and what kind of pressure, because, I mean, some people, especially myself, I felt when I was first introduced to that sort of pressure and feeling, I felt I performed a lot better than I
under
would
the pressure.
Under the pressure, yeah. So, it's kind of like pressure makes diamonds, so to speak. I think the saying goes something like that. I'm not an old geezer, but I'm interested to see. This is the moment where the new players are, maybe we'll be able to start seeing some diamonds form in this tournament.
And not only that, like, the money has a big impact as a whole when it comes to just the pro players, right? Because the money could be used to, get that new skin, or, it could be used to get that new device before PMPL starts up, upgrade your setup, and, kind of going back to what we were chatting about, like pre-game routines. Maybe you want a new gamer chair that doesn't just swivel 180 but does the whole 360, just in case you got full gyro on. Maybe you need some new finger gloves, so the money definitely helps, especially when we're looking at teams who have their eye on that next stage, to improve their game.
And I always love seeing that. I mean, I always look for the next opportunity, look for the next big thing, because I mean, you might as well be having fun with it. If you're able to make cash with it, you should be aiming for that as well. And these teams, I've had the pleasure of meeting a lot of players in person and stuff like that, seeing what kind of changes the game was able to bring to them. And it's changed my life in a lot of ways. It's changed, hopefully yours and Juke's and anyone else affected, whether it's the talent side or being a professional gamer, which is in a few
my chair
years
goes
ago
360.
it wouldn't have been, as saying people would say maybe. So I really love seeing it. Nice strides made for just the gaming community as a whole.
Well, talked about nice strides. Jovi looking for a nice drive here on the Sanhok map. Jovi still with 4 up on the edge over here. They are hoping the Papa Juke's blessing comes into play here and we get a K finish. Still a possibility. Would be a hard shift, of course, but Jovi are prepared for that. Couple
I'm hoping.
M249s out here. Lock and loaded.
I'm hoping for it.
Might as well,
You don't
right?
like
At
it,
this
Dave?
point,
I know
listen,
you don't like
listen.
it, but
Can you just press the button, Enigma, so we can get a cave finish? Let's be real. We know how this works. Press the button.
Listen, I read the script yesterday, and they got a little mad at me for that, that last Aaron Gill game. So they took my button privileges away. But hey, it's still a little in there. It's not out just yet, Dave.
Still there. So if I was Jovi, I would try to go for a drive-by onto Stranger's BD, and if it doesn't work out and like we're gonna lose the drive-by fight, just dip into the cave, just see you later type of deal. Down the hole, yes.
Down the hole, right down the
Oh
middle.
man,
Go over the top, down the middle.
I remember when Sanhok first came out, everybody would drop cave. Like everybody, like you would go, you would try to parachute through into the hull, and there would be just madness down
You'd
there.
be cool. You'd be cool if you could get the parachute all the way through to the cave. Yeah.
Yes.
Instead of dropping on the top and then landing in the water, that was always the lame way of doing it. You had to go right through the center while being in the parachute.
So, looking at the teams here, as surprisingly, kind of a slow Sanhok as we get to that mid game. Looks like the fan club are going to be getting gate kept. Looks like Carey is going to be jumping in here tonight for the final 2 maps. So we should expect 15 kills minimum here. But the fan club definitely going to be getting gate kept. The duo that is still alive. I see the Sentinels now going to be making their approach into the west side of the zone. We got Suns, or straight out of Nepal. Actually, Camp Charlie holding that one down as a 4-man unit, so that's pretty good. But Saturn, I feel like today has been a good day for Saturn here so far.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen them have the eliminations where it's more than just 2 or 3. They're reaching that 6, 7 range. I mean, you're about to call Warehouse, just Saturn Warehouse, it would have been their namesake if they won that 2v2 fight. But, unfortunately, the placements, I think it's just with the point format, you don't really see teams do too hot in the placements category, just because it's only 10 for first. If you're getting in that bottom 8 range,
see ya,
little bank is open.
See ya
on that one.
Black Mamas.
That's 3 eliminations. Another team though that is doing well is Sentinels. I mean, they won the first match. They've had a good wait a second, Jovi, what happened, Dave?
Well, pulling up to the wrong building. That's what happened here. Pika, the last one alive, though, so there's a 1v1. So Jovi, okay. Whoa. C4 with the
wait a second.
Wait a second. Payne with the jump shot through the window, swapping to the DBS, taking out Jovi. C4, this is what we've been talking about, Enigma. C4 have been the third-party kings every single map here tonight. And that's something all these teams should take note of. If you're going to take a fight, have in the back of your mind, when, not if, but when is C4 going to pull up on us? And you need to be able to reset really quickly and hold down those angles and defend, because C4, man, all night long, third party, everything. You love to see it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think they're loving to see that next zone shift. They're still in the zone. No one pushed them, so they get the full reset. It was looking a little scary. The last Jovi player hit 2 knocks in a 1v4 situation. Really could have gone differently. I believe a molly, though, kind of finished him off in that situation. But now we see, though, on the other side of the map, they're out of the zone. And I was thinking the Jerway's fan club was going to maybe pull something out, but it's against X.
I got to say, the buff has not been working for that team this weekend. It worked last weekend or Monday, Tuesday. They just qualified, right? But the buff, I can confirm.
Yeah. Maybe I gave him the wrong card or something, it's not working out.
Well, talk about working out. This could be a nice opportunity for the Zombie Boys to work out some points here, as YKG in the water behind the boulder. I know Zombie Boys have this hill in between, but they definitely heard those shots earlier on, and they need to push this direction to even make it into the zone. Oh, come on. You see something? Yes, you do! Oh, yes, you do! And there's a tasty snack out there for the Zombie Boys.
Yeah. little snack for the zombies, you
Little
know, if they like
snackerino.
that sort of stuff. But
Oh, Chico's still out
YKG
here.
though, 3v3 situation. Oh,
come
and a
on.
beam out of Chico, maybe getting 2. Oh man, both players virtually 1 bullet, Dave, from getting knocked.
Yeah, it's kind of a misplay in my opinion from the zombies, because you get a knock over there. You have to assume it's not solo just out there, right? It's probably a team on the rotate from that next zone. So 24K from the compound, the lean peak red dot M4 just destroying the zombie boys here. And this is what we were talking about in the pre-show. Like, the zombie boys, they just need to be consistent and hold down that third place to get the $2,500. But this is going to be back-to-back games where they're not really performing as they should be, and that's going to be opening it up for those teams in the hunt, like the 4th place, the 5th place, when it comes to getting some more money, because between 3rd and 4th, that's $1,000 difference.
Yeah. And I mean, hopefully they're able to pick up some points on the last match of Erangel. And the zone shift, though, it's not looking pretty for most of these teams. YKG is just on the edge. It's a hard shift to the north. Teams like XQTs, I'm looking at Saturn. They're all outside the zone, Dave.
So, hold up here. Nomads, they need 50 points. A win? If they can pull off a YKG from last chance, I'm just saying.
Hey.
It could be done.
Could be done.
Probably not.
I mean, they're the squad to do it. They're the squad to do it, though. Other than YKG or, you know, XQTs, they're the team in my eyes that could top frag this lobby out. But the issue, you know, is picking up the rest of these eliminations. Yeah. I mean, they're still in the lobby. It's not like they're gone, David. You know, they're still around.
That's the issue here. So it's really a fight for that 2nd place, that 3rd place here, with how consistent the Cuties have been playing here tonight. Now they got Carry in as well, and we've seen Carry day 1. Just what a player, you know, what a player.
Yeah.
So Strangers BD actually going to be in the hills over here, pulling up behind Cuties. Let's see, can they take them out? So it looks like the Cuties are going to be looking over here at Saturn, but they also have Strangers BD rolling up right behind them.
Yeah, I mean, they're in the meat sandwich. Strangers BD's got 4 up. I believe Saturn has at least 3 players, 1 elimination on the board for them. So everyone in the lobby is used to shooting their guns already. And I'm interested to see. It looks like XQTs is making the move now to make their spot in the zone, while Saturn, bit of a misplay in my eyes, waiting at the compound for the zone shift to happen.
Oh no, here comes Saturn now, looking to push out Carry from the hilltops here, spotting that one player, going to be immediately taking them out. And look at this, Saturn are actually going to be in the blue here. Talk about getting gate kept by not only Papa Blue, but my goodness, the Cuties on top of that. Okay, so Fade actually is going to be knocked out. Let's see, what can we do? Saturns are putting in some work in this uphill battle. But we got Snow still up, able to seal the deal. And look at that, the play zone actually applying a lot of pressure and doing a lot of damage there.
Yeah, and I mean, you're picking up 2 knocks that are running in with an AK. No smokes, no cover, just outgunning. And unfortunately for XQTs, couldn't get Carry back up. He had a few bullets into him, so he bled out, you know, not being able to get revived. Thankfully, they are still 2 up. But looking at the teams left alive that do have 4 up, we've got Strangers BD and 412 Nomads.
Yeah, and kind of going back to Strangers BD, remember, they were kind of walking behind the hill behind Cuties. I feel like if they would have heard those shots, that could have been a good indicator to try a third party, but instead they're just going to be prioritizing the south end of this zone here, just trying to keep their number strong. 4 still alive for Strangers BD, 4 still up for the Nomads in the compound that is dead center. You hear those shots ringing out there. So Strangers BD, let's see what we can accomplish here, because we got Snow, we got It's Fate still alive from the Cuties, and then of course the makeshift ghillie, the story here that we've been following all weekend long. And guess what, it was Riz King too last night on Miramar. Same thing, dude loves the makeshift ghillies.
He heard you talking smack about him being eliminated first, so you know he's here now.
Last one alive every single game practically.
And you know he's got it in the helmet, and maybe the backpack, and I'm not sure if I'd like the branches in my shoes and stuff like that, but maybe that's
You
what
gotta
he's
grenade
needed
this though, right,
when he
Enigma?
made it.
You have to. You have
Yeah.
to. You have to. And a Molotov.
He's got the idea. Yeah, you go for it. You try to cook him up on the rock after the nade. No one else has spotted you. He's playing a little snake on Sanhok, and that's the hard thing about Sanhok. Smaller the circle gets, more snakes, become apparent, and it's harder to spot close range.
With a name like Riz King. With a name like Riz King. There goes Fate. So there's a point going bye-bye. But you know where Snow is. We still got the grenade.
I'm not sure if he saw Fate knock, though. Oh, he does now. He knows it's just the one.
Come on. This is all you,
and
Riz
Snow
King.
has no idea.
This is all you. Oh my goodness, look how much blue zone damage they took. But finally able to pop up and no!
Wow.
Riz King.
Unfortunate.
Respect.
To see. He got
Respect.
the elimination point. He got the point.
Okay.
That's what matters. And the placement with it.
Shout out to Riz King. So let's get back into the action here because Nomads have been in this compound for a good amount of time. Only 2 eliminations. They've been taking shots at everybody they can see in their sight lines. You got a duo, Joey and Chico, on the shorelines, and then a whole squad of Strangers BD right behind you, just itching to overtake your compound. But look at this. They are so grouped up. At least the trio on the boulder. Chico's popping up. Chico wants a piece of this one. Chico 6 times. My dude zooming in on him. Goes G9 in the back line.
Run in. Made it in.
Strangers BD just kind of out here in the open now. I'm surprised they're still alive. Joey's definitely putting in some work over there on the opposite end. Has a grenade in hand, so keep an eye on that one. Okay, so they have the boulder for hard cover. Looks like one more player is alive. Never said. Trying to get the pickup with the blue zones, just taking them all out, choking them all down. Papa Blue coming out on top right there from the squad. But here comes Joey, the wrecking ball, trying to get the win here for YKG. It's up to A-Lim from the Nomads. 1v2 situation. Joey trying to get this grenade here. Looking for the ricochet off the door, possibly. Joey and Chico working together as a unit. A-Lim popping out with the DPS.
Wow.
Catching them both off guard right there. Getting the win. Getting the win. The Nomads. That's who needed it.
Now, only a few eliminations at the end, but ran out of the building in blue zone, getting both of them. Now, I'm not sure where Joey was looking in that engagement, but pow, pow. I mean, 2 shots out of the DBS, getting 2 knocks. And we talked, about Baton being the star player. We can't forget about A-Lim. I mean, just showing that even when his teammates are knocked, he's able to put pressure in the paint and get it done when it matters. So, stellar performance out of him. I was thinking it was a YKG win 100%, but you can never discount this man.
Oh man, I gotta see the replay because I'm thinking Joey was trying to get that grenade, just doing the calculations, doing the maths right there to like have it bounce off the door, and I saw it. I saw it all flash before my eye. But Liam was like, "Listen, this is my moment. Just eating out there with the DBS. When you got the DBS, I gotta ask you, Enigma, because you've been here. The DBS, how much confidence does that actually add to you as a player on the battlefield?
Well, when I'm using it, it's still a little rough because I was never that CQC specialist per se. But whenever I was against it, and I knew it was a specific team I was against, let's say whether it was Cloud9 or Ghost Gaming and stuff like that, if I heard, Tensa or Spec, those namesake mechanical players having a DBS, it's definitely disheartening to say the least because they're able to do stuff like that. I mean, you take the first peek, you take no damage getting that first knock, and the second player almost has 0 time to react. We saw Joey still trying to scramble for the shots, and it shows here. I mean, on the scoreboard, they only had 6 eliminations, securing the placement, getting 16 total points for the Nomads.
Yeah, huge. I don't know if that's going to be enough really to put them in a solid position to overthrow Cuties for that first place with only one more game to go, and with Cuties still, once again, 12 points. Just so consistent here throughout the weekend. So YKG, though, showing up in the top 3 here, not something I believe we saw tonight. So 13 total points going their way. Strangers BD, Sentinels, C4. Okay, C4, we see you once again, really giving it your all. And you know what? I'm pointing out C4 because I really believe they are on the hunt, man, for like that 3rd place to really overthrow the zombies. So let's turn over that next page, and I'm curious. Zombies only 2 points here that last match, and I believe the same could be said the game before as well here, Enigma, for the Zombie Boys.
Yeah, and I'd like to be with you on them holding out the 3rd place position, but the Erangel performance didn't really look that hot from them. And going into it, I mean, I'm seeing Blue Tiam right next to C4, being that team that's securing those eliminations, getting 6 or 7 points, not 1 or 2 points. So the last match is really going to be, I think, a fight between those 3 teams and maybe YKG, knowing what kind of numbers they can put up for that position for that 3rd place finish on the night.
Yeah, well, guess what, Enigma? We got one more game to go. We had 4 teams in Pachinki, game number 1. I'm just saying. 4 teams, all right? Last game of the weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. One more game for the grand finals coming up after the break.
It's time to upgrade your PUBG mobile outfits. Join free daily cups for solo, duo, or squads. Win Face It points. Exchange for PUBG Mobile UC. To customize your account, join Face It today and earn rewards. Try for free at faceit.com/PUBG Mobile.
What up, everybody? One more game to go. PMCO North America Grand Finals Enigma. I got to ask you, man. I mean, this is our first time casting at this stage, this level. It's been one heck of a weekend. Any standout moments for you here so far as we got one more game to go?
Well, I'd have to go day by day with that sort of stuff. And at least for today, it's been all the nade eliminations we've had. I mean, a lot of these players are starting, really hit some Tom Brady's or those Hail Marys, so to speak, of, just really putting people in the dirt. And I mean, you don't really see that too often, and seeing it so much, coming from the same players in the same match. I mean, it's hard to just expect that. And obviously, we can talk about executives and stuff like that. They're just overall dominant performance with most of their matches. And, with that squad, obviously we've been talking a lot about X-Carry, but you can't do it alone. I mean, that whole squad is a beast, so to speak. And, all those players have proven that, they're essentially a cut above the rest.
Yes, sir. One more game to go. First place, $6,000, by the way. Second place, $4,000. Third place, $2,500. And fourth place, $1,500. Those are the big money spots. Everybody's going to be walking away here with some money in their pocket after this game. But top four is definitely the major headlines here. And that's going to be where these teams are really, truly trying to fight tooth and nail to get this money, man. So, looking forward to it. Game number one, Erangel, was a wild one, right? From start to finish, we had 4 teams in Pochinki popping off. We had the late game, 1v1 Bison drop shot stuff going down. So it's been today's been the best day so far, without a doubt, man.
And I mean, it's just like last chance qualifiers. The last day was always something spectacular compared to the other two. And today, especially, I mean, 4 people in Pochinki. Hopefully we see that again. You talked about fighting tooth and nail for that prize pool and stuff like that. And I mean, for these squads, if you're really starting at the beginning of the day and, you had that hot drop, it didn't go so well. And, you're only needing a star seller performance to really change in that money prize pool game. Go for it. I mean, just send it out there, leave it all out there. Try not to leave yourself with any regrets or doubts or, maybe just hesitations. Just go out there and do your thing, man.
So, talking about doing your thing, let's check out the overall leaderboards heading into the final map of the Grand Finals here in North America. XQT's at the top, 177. Holy cow. Nomads, though, 15. Sentinels, 80. So, Zombie Boys did get pushed out of the top 3, but what is standing out to you, Enigma?
Well, for first place, obviously, it's, it's pretty secure to my eyes. A 50-point, game from Nomads it's unheard of. But after that, I mean, the point sponges aren't really spongy that much. We're looking at third place with 80. Zombie Boys at fourth with only 74. That's a 6-point gap. And we look at Blue Tiam, just 8 or so behind that. So a lot of these teams can really start making the money changes happen. Which is a solid game. And that's not even if you get the win. If you, drop maybe 6 or 8 elimination points, get into that top 3 placements. And, if these other teams crumble, I mean, that's your money now. It's a loss for them.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one here for some of these teams on the second half of the overall leaderboard. So just a reminder, like I said moments ago, everybody's getting money, right? It's just a matter of where you place and how much money you get. So you got to say, Unique Legacy, we have been seeing a spark, right, from them here tonight. Like, we've been seeing them be really proactive in the early to mid game. I can't say they've been catching much luck on their rotates after that. They kind of just get stuck between multiple teams there. But I got to give it to them, though, regardless. It's a team. They recognize, hey, it's the last day. We need to get this points if we want to get more money. So I got to give it to them for just simply being proactive throughout the evening here tonight.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's it started a little late for them on that good performance run, and it's nice to see, to say the least, that they are doing at least today. Some of these other teams, maybe it's a bit more of a mental blow, too much for them to overcome on having a solid game. But hey, I mean, it's one last match to go out and do your thing, have fun with it, and just enjoy the game of PUBG Mobile.
So, talking about enjoying the game of PUBG Mobile. In the chat, I see that, as the night progresses, more and more people funnel in the chat, kind of like these chat IGLs. And I love reading it, man. Shout out to everybody watching tonight, by the way. I love reading the takes, like, oh, man, he should have pushed. Oh, what's that Molotov? I mean, to me, that just shows, like, they're so invested in all these plays and, they're rooting for their specific team, of course. But let us know in the chat, who do you? I'm talking to you in the chat, typing away. Who do you got your eyes on? Type it in the chat. Myself and Enigma always keeping tabs on that one here. So, all in all, one more match. Will we have the hot drops? Question mark. Will we have XQDs just rolling around the place? I mean, they got 62 points ahead of first place or second place. If I'm XQDs, I'm looking at my little book of people that have done me wrong in the past. And I'm like, they need this many elims to get this much money. I am going your way. That's all I'm saying, because 62 points is almost impossible, right, to catch up to. So the XQDs could do whatever they want, and that's what scares me here in this final map here, Enigma.
And it's scary if we're scared about it, because we're not even the ones playing. The people in the lobby, maybe they took, Carrie's lunch money or something a few years ago, or maybe said the wrong thing.
You don't forget
that on his new shoes. You never forget that. You remember the faces, even if they change the haircut or whatever, get a fake mustache like I might need to do. It's unbearable, to say the least. So I would like to see that, to be honest. Start doing that sort of BM play, because they deserve all of that sort of stuff. And these other teams, I'd really be worried. One of those borderline teams. Myself, I've been in that position of being in the borderline spot, and it's definitely not the prettiest feeling, to say the least.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. It's PMCO North America Grand Finals, the last game of the weekend. Final match point right now for all 16 teams who went through the opens, went through the group stages, went through the winners or losers bracket, and then the last chance qualifiers. So many lobbies leading up to this moment, this final game. All right, I'm ready for it. Enigma, are you ready for it?
I'm ready for it, because all these people went through the meat grinder. They went through all the teams that had different play styles, maybe dropped with you at the same drops, and you were able to beat them out. But now, this is it. This is the climax. This is the buildup that everyone's been waiting for on, where these teams are going to land in a lobby like this. And it's PMCO. A lot of these people maybe have never had their name on the screen in front of them. They've only been in those open qualifiers, and this is the furthest they've ever reached. So I'm dying to see which of these teams are going to be able to make a namesake for themselves coming out of this match.
Yeah, such a good point. We were chatting about the Nomads. We were chatting about old gangsters. We got so much intel chatting with all these teams here this weekend. And, well, here's Jovi, man, trying to finish strong here this evening. The final game of the tournament. Looks like my boy Riz King is going to be the first one taken down from the Sentinels. So this is a big fight, not necessarily for Jovi, but for the Sentinels, who are within the reach of acquiring more money, depending on what they do there. And Jelly just vaulting out that window at the wrong time right there, Enigma.
Yeah, a little bit of an Uzi spray. He wasn't even aiming for him. A little bit of, an unfortunate series of events. A little bit of an unfortunate series of events. But unfortunately, Jovi, they had a solo on that, little water spot that was recently added to the map, losing the 1v1 with Nosh. But, I've talked about it time and time again, with the gun spawns you get when you do these hot drops. And he's holding a deagle out there, Dave. I'm not feeling the strongest about Nosh holding off angle with just a pistol.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge, but there are only 2 Jovi members left, Uzi, UMP. I'm almost starting to question, if Sentinels have the ability to kind of pull back or retreat, do they do that, Because I would hate for them to get taken out here this early on, especially with so much on the line for them in particular. But we did have a nice little Molotov right there to apply some pressure and allow Jelly to get a new alternate angle over here. Jit still holding down the back lines through the window. with the UMP. I'm looking though. Where is Nosh? You know, I know Nosh is up there on the high ground, and Jelly's looking too. Jelly's like, "Where's Nosh?" You know, not only am I looking, but also Jelly looking to see where the teammate is. We need this support, you know, the help right now to make sure to secure these two limbs.
Well, I think he still had that eagle from earlier, so it looks like he's going to try to maybe swap it out with something a little more long range. Because, I mean, that ridge kind of encompasses this compound along that whole south side. He could possibly find an angle on a Jovi player if he gets a better gun. And I'm looking at the Sentinels, you know, their lineup in terms of, you know, what weapons they have in their arsenal. And, you know, an M7 and a UMP are definitely nice weapons to have for these close range engagements. But Jovi on the other side also having an Uzi. But we can see on the bottom right, Dave, the engagements with the squads in Pachinki. It looks like it's only two, but it'll be C4 taking the initiative against Old Gangsters.
Yeah, that fight in the bottom, huge come up for C4 if they win. This fight right now, Sentinels, huge come up if they win, because Sentinels are in third place right now for $2,500, right ahead of the Zombie Boys. So if the Sentinels get taken out here by the last place team in the lobby, that's going to be a huge opportunity for the Zombie Boys to reclaim that third place spot for the 2,500. So there's a lot on the line here, because if the Sentinels lose this fight, this one fight against Jovi out of all the teams in the lobby could be $1,000 fight, essentially.
Yeah, and I mean, they know it's Jovi. They've had two eliminations now. Nosh with the 249 made it around to the little sniper tower here, having a nice angle. Most players, you know, recognize that the hill's going to be in play. You prone in the windows, but he might have enough of an angle to shoot over people that are still prone. But we're going to swap over to the C4 fight, Dave. It's a 1v4 situation on the edge of Pachinki, spelling disaster for the Old Gangster squad.
Old Gangsters, Cardi, last one up here, putting in some work, but not before getting slugged to the dome. So there goes the OGs, the Old Gangsters. This is their third PMCO, if I'm not mistaken. The team's been grinding for a hot minute now, man. And shout out to them for competing this weekend, putting up, well, a hell of a show. But getting back to this fight here, the battle for third place. Sentinels in third place right now. They're locked horns with Jovi, the duo. I finally see Nosh in the back lines cooking a grenade. One grenade.
Oh.
Level 3 gear, though. Is that
tossing it.
Good? Yes, it is. That's the grenade to start the engagement. Kodo now, the last one alive, with the Uzi in the compound. 1v3 situation. Will Kodo take out our boys on the Sentinels and take away their shmoney? I think not.
Nope.
Cleaning house. That was close, though, Enigma. They did lose one out the process. That fight took forever to happen. So shout out to Jovi for almost spoiling the Sentinels and pretty much taking $1,000 away from them right there.
Yeah, and we saw just the aspect of, you know, what kind of pressure it had taking this sort of early engagement. The $1,000 coming into the minds of those players. And it's not maybe just 1,000. It could maybe even be more. It's more than just C4 having the potential of passing you up. And for that, I mean, thankfully, you know, Nosh was able to hit the, you know, a real stellar nade through the window, get that opening, and no one lost another trade. But they did lose one. Picked up 4 elimination points, matching C4's plan. But Unique Legacy now having to take an engagement with Black Mamba of all teams. Actually already lost 2 players, Dave, to the engagement.
Let's see. We were chatting about Unique Legacy and how they've been really proactive here this evening. You can tell they're really giving it their all, down to just a duo. Ho-ho! Making it rain out here. Making it rain. Money grenades. Now, Black Mamba, Papa Triste. Can we avoid grenades? Little 2v2 situation now, Enigma. Oh, ouch. Ouch. That one hurt.
Oh.
Okay.
Right on him. He's got 4, though, left in the tank. Got back in the shack. There's only that back window they could throw it in. I don't know if Unique Legacy has more frags, Dave. Jazzy Boy also has the angle to watch the front door, so I'm liking Black Mamba's position right now.
With the DBS right there, their squad mate with the Bison from behind. So it's up to Jesse Boy. 4 grenades. Going for the long toss. Looks like Mauricio is going to be pulling back from their position, not opting to get that thirst and just full on focusing to take out Jesse Boy from the rooftop right now.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't made note of it with all the fighting going on, but this is down on the very south side of the zone. All these engagements haven't really been anywhere near the center. It's all just hot drop off spawn, going for that 4v4 engagement. And thankfully for, Unique Legacy or Black Mamba, the zone shift can't come down towards them, towards Milita, but I mean, you still got to deal with the issue. You have one Black Mamba player that could still play spoiler if you try to, not flush him out.
Yeah, definitely got to keep our eyes on this one because this fight could be additional monies in the pockets, going both ways here. So definitely an interesting fight, and especially with the zone no longer favored over here, just over the way. But talking about the zone, we do get that next circle shift. So the Zombie Boys, an important team to follow here. They are going to have to move out of school. They have YKG near them. So I'm bringing up the Zombie Boys because remember, they're in 4th place right now, trying to get their 3rd place slot back from the Sentinels, who we saw earlier on able to win that engagement. A much needed win in the pocket against Jovi. So 2 teams awfully close to each other. Blue Tiam, another squad that we need to keep tabs on in 5th place, who fighting for some additional monies. But here's Nomads, currently in 2nd place, going up against Strangers BD, who are in 8th.
Yeah, they already lost one, Dave. They're going a little bit of pre-nades. Hopefully Alim can get reset. He's not the one on the building just yet, but Strangers BD being the one to actually be able to apply pressure to the 2nd place team. And we've talked about it all night, Dave. I'm seeing on the edge of the screen. I'm not sure if they're going to do it, but C4 starting to come up. I'm expecting the wheel to start turning, maybe come in. And, oh man. Revenge hitting a nice nade, and oh my goodness, this is it. Later, they're gonna go for it.
G4.
Turn in.
Someone's shooting them, actually. So someone's shooting them.
Man.
The cuties are going to be rolling right behind C4 for a hot moment right there. So got to keep tabs on that. A lot of teams all stacked on top of each other. We can see the cuties in the back line, actually. A couple of them going down. Baton in the smokes with the pow-pow on the Strangers BD here. Everybody wants a piece of this, but I'm still looking, like you said, C4 looks like they're going to be zooming on by, looking for a centralized position. Not an opt in the 3rd part of this one. I'm surprised. Whoa!
Wait a second.
Hello? Fears from above the buggy on the roof. What?
I wanted to see
did I just see?
I said
what
I wanted to see someone send it on the roof, Dave. And Fears is the one to do it. And, I thought it'd be C4 making this, but YKG's now the team at this little mushroom compound is we like to call it. And X-Cuties on the north side. So all of these teams that, are insane. My goodness.
Raton, that fancy driving my dude up there on the roof, hitting them with the vert grenade right there. Very impressive. Now YKG on the outskirts right there. Fear's probably going to be bleeding on out, but 24K looking to toss some grenades and return the favor. 3 nades in the hands of 24K. It's Fate looking to wrap around Chico. This is just all out mayhem right there. Gunpain with a nice grenade to put a stop to the 24K barrage of grenades. And YKG, GG, thanks for playing here. They were in 7th place coming into this game. No longer in play, but the X-Cuties now trying to finish what YKG started. Snow trying to thread the needle here. What is going on? Did Carrie just eat it up there too? Carrie yeeted it with the Bison now from the balcony, taking down Gunpain, and there goes the Nomads. That was the 1st and 2nd place team. Everybody wanted a piece of them here, Enigma.
Yeah, I mean, the buggy plays are just insane right now. And Carrie, instantly going for a little lean peek angle out the window. But your boys now started to take some shots at them. Hopefully, they don't take this engagement. Because seeing that from X-Cuties just absolutely mopping the floor with the teams in this compound, I would not be pressuring my luck with them. And, C4, we're seeing some teams with eliminations on the board. But, man, if you're a team like Nomads or stuff like that, you're really just wishing you could go back and change the, maybe even go into that compound.
The Nomads? Yeah, I don't know. Everybody wanted the Nomads. Dude,
Yeah.
how many teams? Oh my goodness, Nomads, GG's, honestly. Nomads had a nice little point buffer in that second place for the $4,000. So Sentinels, only 4 limbs so far, and they did lose 1. So Sentinels in that third place. Honestly, I'm looking at Sentinels and Zombie Boys to see if we get a little swap-a-reno on the overall leaderboard after this game, because it's $1,000 difference. But oh my goodness, only in the final game do you see people just straight up eating it on a roof, right? Not just one team, but no, 2 teams. Enigma, 2 teams. Yep, that happened. Yep,
different sides.
2 teams.
And I want to say too, while the fight was going on in the building, Cuties actually did that play twice. They had someone on that far side of the compound send it with like a trike or something, and then just everyday things,
just normal things. North America for you, right? Let's just say that. North America.
Regular scheduled programming in my eyes.
We do that on the regular. So yeah. Well, that was fun, man. So that was a good opportunity. I think all that craziness, the normal North America stuff going on up there, I think that was a good opportunity for the Zombie Boys to look to reposition and try to play for that late game, because it does look like the Sentinels kind of sent it up there within zone as well. We can see them just a little east of Mansion, Zombie Boys on the west of zone. They have a care package over there. So honestly, I got my eye on those 2 teams. Blue Tiama as well could be a sleeper team, currently in 5th coming into this game. They still got the team alive on the east too. So we got some teams who are really close to each other in that mid pack, with a solid final game of the event when it comes to trying to get some more money.
Well, one team I'm looking at, Dave, you didn't name them, was
C4.
straight out of Nepal. Nope.
Oh, straight out of Nepal.
They're chilling on the north side. They're 4-man. I know they're near the bottom of the leaderboard, but a lot of those teams near them are already gone. And it's not like the point spread was that crazy for that bottom 8 of the leaderboard. So if they're able to, at least pick up 3 or 4 eliminations, get in that top 3 position coming out of Mansion, this could be a spot where, even if it's not the best feeling, it's better than what it'd be if you were to be eliminated in the lobby right now. So, seeing it from them, but
and Club trying not to be eliminated right now here.
And I think it's just a catcher curse for him. Unfortunately, Saturn's already got 6 eliminations in the match. Looking kind of nice for him. But winning the 1v1 though on the inside. Insane play from Yang, but I mean, he's gonna have to do more than just that, Dave. And that was his teammate with the nade knock.
Oh man. Mistakes have been made. You know what? You weren't doing enough down there, so yeah, just go back to lobby. Now Darwin on the outskirts, they know exactly where Slay is here, trying to get this grenade in that closet. Got him, Darwin said. They did lose 1 in the mix, right, when we are looking at Saturn, but you were pointing it out, Saturn, they're getting a lot of kills, or at least they were, because look who is rolling up to the party. It is Carrie and the boys from Cuties.
The squad. And I mean, I like the Saturn play. They got someone up the hill, so it's not too, not too bad for him, but he did get 1 though, Dave. This is looking pretty decent for Saturn. Hopefully, they're able to maybe prevent that revive from going down, or maybe at a few nades. But, I mean, against Cuties, it's a very daunting task, Dave, in my eyes.
Wancho has been such a clutch player here for the Cuties. Not only in the tournament, but tonight in particular, Wancho has just been popping off. So let's see if Wancho can win this here, because Fate pulling up here, but Wancho still in the front lines. 4 grenades, now 3, trying to toss the grenade to put a stop to the Saturn push, but Saturn with that Molotov. Let's see if we can get that spread. Crazy. Getting the crate over here, going for a crazy play. Going to be by themselves over here, maybe even calling to their teammates like, hey, let's third party this, boys. And I do see Julio trying to make the pull up over here as well. So Zombie Boys looking for some elims. Looks like Wancho was able to get a pickup on carry. That's a huge one. Now the Saturn's just trying to hold down this Wizard Tower for the time being. Saturn's They're doing a good job, though, at defending. Not going to lie.
Yeah. Unfortunately, right as we say that, Juancho gets a knock on the upstairs player. And the issue is when you're holding the upstairs and downstairs, it's kind of hard to run out to the stairs and go revive your teammate. But maybe we'll see it happen. Juancho now going for another big nade, at least going for the thirst. Doesn't get it, but forcing the 1v1. Juancho, clutch factor. I'm going to need one of Hot Jukes' little clutch cards.
Clutch badges.
Clutch badges. Yep, I'm taking it, and I'm giving it to Juancho. He deserves it.
You only get one per day, just so you know. So it's going to be going
well,
over to Juancho.
I'm giving it to him.
I approve.
I'm giving it to
the
him.
board of badge committee definitely stamps the approval there. Juancho has been a wrecking ball as an individual player, but also as a team player. We saw them pull back to pick up carry once again. So looks like Fate was spotted, tagged, and bagged. And look at the Zombie Boys spread right here. All four of them just zoning in right here on the duo. I love this from the Zombie Boys. Let's see if they can finish it. Okay, there's carry. One more to go. It's going to be Juancho. A couple more shots should do it from the Zombie Boys. Juancho has no HP practically. Going to be going out to zone. So that is a big point that the Zombie Boys could have used, though. Not gonna lie, but I like Zombie Boys being proactive here.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just looking like pretty standard, clean stuff from them. Unfortunately, Yorsic getting caught out in the open there. But 3-man, I mean, they decided to go kind of in front of those teams fighting at that little sniper tower and just let it out, settle out, and then pick up the last little few elimination points left. But that squad, I mean, they're the team that's needing the points, and I felt like I've seen this time and time again from them when it comes to these sort of pressure spots, and they're near that edge ranking, maybe getting more prize pool money or stuff like that. They've been able to perform, so I'm liking to see from them. Hopefully, we can see more out of them. There's only 6 teams though left alive, Dave, in stage 5.
It's coming down to the wire here. Junior from Blue Tiam on the top here, just going fishing with their grenades, looking for that 7-footer catfish almost here. Unique Legacy going to be down to just a solo. Oh, no, mistakes were made over there. Someone jumping down. But Blue Tiam trying to get some points here because Blue Tiam coming in this match, 5th place, right behind the Zombie Boys. Definitely have the opportunity to get some more money on the board. And looking at Blue Tiam, they got 3 eliminations here so far. They're going to have a little more points. So make that another one in the pocket. So I'm looking at the Sentinels. I'm looking at Blue Tiam. I'm looking at the Zombie Boys. All 3 of these teams are still in this game. And they're all fighting for some additional money for the overalls here. Big money at that here, Enigma.
Yeah, and I like seeing it. Just all the teams that are neck and neck are playing this out and playing it all close to perfection in my eyes. I mean, a lot of these teams have had to make some really hard decisions of maybe going for the engagements or not. A lot of their plays choosing in the latter half to be, a little bit more passive. But with there being only 5 teams left alive, the zone shift gets smaller. Let's just have faith, that our squad is able to be superior over yours. And, most of these teams don't really have to move too far in other than Blue Tiam, but they are one of the teams that do have 4 players left alive. Straight out of Nepal, I said it earlier, they were the Mansion team, Dave. They have 4 players left alive as well. I'm not too sure how many eliminations they have. I believe it's 0. But I'm expecting, last game of the day. Finish out the tournament with a bang. Hopefully get a win, and feel good about yourself coming out of the tournament.
So Blue Tiam, I believe they're only like 14 points behind Sentinels in 3rd. Coming into this game, that is before, that's not counting the current points right now. That's just counting the leaderboards heading into this match. So Blue Tiam, Sentinels are still alive though, which is good for them. But Blue Tiam with the whole team up, they could
I think it might
snag that 3rd place spot. And now they're going to be looking at the Zombie Boys who were in 4th. So if the Zombie Boys get taken out here from Blue Tiam, oh no, that could be a massive grenade. Yeah, that grenade will be applying a lot of damage. Here comes the follow-up. Let's see, is it going to be good? The fade away. The Zombie Boys are just getting picked apart right now from Blue Tiam.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't just 1 nade, Dave. It's 2. Now make it 3. It looks like he's missing a little bit off the mark with Blue Tiam. Now, I think it was going to come down to, you talked about that point spread between them and Sentinels.
Oh, here they come.
You can't let it come down to place. It's the full send.
Drive by right there. Blue Tiam looking to steal the tomb for the zombie boys, and they did just that. The zombie boys getting taken out right there to the hands of Blue Tiam. And listen, with 7 elimination points, Enigma, that opens this whole thing up for Blue Tiam when it comes to snagging that 3rd place spot. Sentinel's still alive, but Blue Tiam have massive eliminations right now.
Yeah, I mean, straight out of Nepal, if you're Blue Tiam and you see straight out of Nepal fighting with Sentinels, I think you almost let that happen, because Sentinels is able to lose another player to maybe even get eliminated in 4th place spot. I mean, the placement points could be a drastic change for you. You don't want to have the eliminations too close coming out of this match. I like the play from Blue Tiam, getting aggressive, not really knowing what that sort of point spread, I guess you could say, looks like since they're in the match. You know, they're under the pressure of the situation, but hopefully Blue Tiam's able to start picking up some more elimination points, because this is still anyone's game for that 3rd place spot.
Yeah, without a doubt. And Sentinel is just trying to survive. So Sentinel's only with 4 eliminations, trying to survive. Blue Tiam, they needed more points than the Zombie Boys. They needed more points than the Sentinels, but Blue Tiam, they are just popping off here this game. And you said that this was your team to watch day number 1. I remember you saying that. You put a lot of stock into Blue Tiam, and we were chatting about them here today, how they really pick up and start performing towards the end of the evening. And I gotta say, man, we're on point right there. So let's see. Sentinels now need to move out of their position.
We also have C4 on the south side. They've been a little bit of a quiet sort of spot in the zone. I think they're just at a little shack or something, but seems like now, I think straight out of Nepal knows Sentinels at the compound. A little bit of a smoke trail. I'm not actually even seeing any vehicles, so this might spell disaster for Sentinels, Dave. C4 even's taking their piece of the pie with maybe getting some elimination points. And I mean, we saw the smoke tunnel on Miramar with the nomads. Hopefully Sentinels are able to make it, work, or at least get them a little bit further for placement points. Because, I mean, at this point, you're needing all the points you can get. You cannot leave it up to, the eliminations. You can't feel comfortable being in a spot like this. And, oh, my goodness, it's just...
Oh, here comes the mad dash, man. Looks like they just popped some boost, popped some smokes, and they said, I'll see you in the next zone. I'll see you in the next zone, dude. Oh, C4, just looking right at them. The duo from C4 just pre-firing through the smokes. Nosh was able to make it to the tree, but that tree is not safe from straight out of Nepal. Now it's up to Jelly to keep the Sentinel dream alive here when it comes to keeping the money. The 3rd place spot money.
Oh,
and there goes Jelly. Will they have enough points when it comes to placement and elims? We'll have to find out, because right now C4 still alive. Blue Tiam still alive, going for that mad dash, but everybody's got their eyes on straight out of Nepal, looking to play spoiler right now.
Yeah, I meat it's a 4v3v2 situation. I think it's almost a little bit of a handshake going on with C4 and Blue Tiam, which say, hey, this team's at Mansion all game. Let's just make sure that, they at least feel the pressure from coming in so late. Nice little stat on the left there. Bond, talked about him a lot, reaching 600 total damage. And, right now, I think it's more so these teams are going to start stabilizing, but this stage 8 shift, it's not looking good for straight out of Nepal. They don't have, I believe, that too good of vehicles to maybe try to make those little soft covers. And it looks like C4 as well on the south side, trying to rotate in. I'm a little bit worried, Dave, because we saw what it was like with Zombie Boys holding Blue Tiam's spot down in the dip. Starting to see Bond started to come around, maybe play the same position as last time. So we'll have to wait and see.
I feel like Bond should have let that opponent out there from Straight Outta Nepal just continue to push, on top of Blue Tiam. Instead, Bond was able to get that knock over there, because that player was getting awfully close within grenade range and could have definitely taken out Blue Tiam. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe Bond's just kind of going for these elimination points here. Here comes Russell pulling up. Straight Outta Nepal, man, using these boulders. Oh, my goodness, using these boulders. They are right on top of Blue Tiam. Blue Tiam in the bowl, in the smokes. But straight on to Paul, they are snaking in the grass right now. They are trying to flush out Blue Team, who looks like they built a car for it down below. Oh, they got so many grenades too, Enigma.
I was gonna say,
Paul
Dave, I was
have
looking at
so
it.
much util.
I think they have 12 or 14 frags. 6 of them were on Russell alone. So if he's able to get up, maybe do 1 or 2, just test the range, test the arm, see if it's warmed up enough to reach that range. Because, we're at stage 8. The next zone is when it closes indefinitely to the center. C4 took a little bit of an initiative taking this drop, but Blue Team in the driver's seat, or I guess the hot spot, you could say, for the teams.
I'm cheering for him.
I think we all are, Dave. Especially Jukes. Jukes was a huge fan of Blue Team in the last chance qualifiers. I was against him a bit with the Saturn Esports, but I'm a Blue Team believer now.
C4, 5 eliminations here this match, still a duo. Bond has been one of the standout players from C4 here this weekend as well. So keep your eyes on Bond to see what they can accomplish here. In the vehicle, getting some additional sight lines. Now popping out with the Garoza. Looking to shred. Looking to pop some heads over there. Behold, Boo's in the vehicle. Someone's in the vehicle driving by here. Russell with a massive grenade onto Blue Team, by the way. So straight out of Paul, they are just sending it in all types of directions here. There goes Blue Team taken out. And now let's see what they can do up against C4 here. What a crazy play from straight out of Paul right there. Now they're down to just a duo king with the DP.
Yeah, they sent it. They wiped Blue Team, but C4 still here taking 0 damage. Now King putting some shots down range. Maybe a big molly. Is it going to spread to him? I think it just went past him, Dave. Right on him. Wow.
Oh, my goodness. They know where he is, though.
The trees.
The tree.
He's edge of the zone. You wait for it. Is it enough? Oh, it's on
6
him.
got the DPS out. Oh, here comes Popple Blue, though. Yep, King gonna be popping out right there. And Bond with the final blow right there on straight out of Nepal to end the day. Blue Team, they just got destroyed right there at the end. I'm not gonna lie. Straight out of Nepal did a great job. They knew they were in that bowl, and it was just a matter of time, right? And I don't know who that was who popped in the vehicle and just like straight up sent it. I believe someone from straight out of Nepal. But I'm happy that they showed up here in the final game.
Yeah, I think it was Vortex and like a buggy or something, and then he got immediately traded out. But you secured the placement, you got the elimination point, was definitely worth it. But C4, the team that stumbled on the second day, really proving themselves alongside Blue Team. And in my eyes, these teams have really just shined and proven themselves as being a team, being able to hang with some of the best competition. We're looking at the match rankings right now. 9 elimination points, letting them secure 19 points for C4. And Blue Team, the other team, 12 points to their name. So Dave, the leaderboard right now, I have no idea. I'm not a mathematician in any way, but it's got to be something close near the top.
So C4 coming into this game, they were in 6th place, right? Blue Team were in 5th, Zombies were in 4th, Sentinels in 3rd. Those were like the teams that were really close to each other. Pretty incredible that C4 were able to get 19 points this game. Blue Team with 12. So really big when it comes to shaking things up. The question is, Sentinels, 8 points. Are those 8 points enough to remain in that 3rd place spot for the $2,500? That's my question. And let's turn the page because we saw the Zombie Boys. Zombie Boys might have lost their 4th place. They most definitely lost their 4th place there because Blue Team and both C4 performed really well here that game. But ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time, Enigma. It's about that time. The PMCO North America Grand Finals champions. Do you have a prediction?
Well, I think everyone had the same idea as me. X-Cuties were the champions of it. Dave,
yes, sir.
We can talk about it a bit. The team that, was showing up, I made note of it at the start of the day. 6 out of 8 matches were top 2 finishes from them. 116 elimination points. That's in 12 matches. They're dropping double digits on the daily per game. And that's just completely unheard of in my eyes, Dave. But, you know, we have to give note as well to some of the other teams below them. 412 Nomads being able to secure that second place spot. We didn't really have too much doubts. But Sentinels, the team that takes that third position with 88 total points.
Wow. They remained in third place. So shout out to the Sentinels, really coming down to the wire of that game. So let me remind you, first place $6,000, second place $4,000. So GG's Nomads. Third place $2,500. And look at this, C4, the final game, $1,500. So they were able to bump out the Zombie Boys that last match. So C4 really turning up the heat here as the night progressed. And of course, everybody's winning some cash money here, but those top four are definitely the prime positions. So Enigma, GG's, my dude. Any final thoughts before we wrap this one up?
GG's. I mean, you know, I love being here and stuff like that. First time casting, it's a starting point not only for some of these players, but hopefully, you know, for me as well. Hopefully we could see each other in the future doing some more casting stuff, because I always love talking the game of PUBG Mobile. And with someone like you that knows what they're doing, I mean, I couldn't have had it any other way.
Bro, I just got a mustache. All right. But ladies and gentlemen, follow us on socials. Make sure you hashtag PMCO it. Make sure you follow all the official social media channels of PUBG Mobile as well for all the most up-to-date esports action. And that's going to be it, man. That's going to be the grand finals, man. We went from opens, groups, winners, losers, last chance to grand finals. And that's it. The weekend's done, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you for taking your time to come out here and watch some good old PUBG Mobile. And don't forget, keep playing, baby. Until next time.
Remember you more when you hand out deals. Let's go. We won't fit in your box. We don't quit, we won't stop. Ride us all to the top. We won't fit in your, we won't fit in your, we won't fit in your box. No, we don't quit, we won't stop. No, ride us all to the top. Whoa. We won't fit in your box. No. Don't box me in. I do my own thing. Spirit is right within. I got my own way. Rather is not within. Look at the way that I do my ops again. Better let me loose. You know that I got the juice. Everything I got to do. Words that I speak out my mouth, I gotta move. We can't fit in your box. We too cold to get We won't fit in your box. We don't quit, we won't stop. Ride us all to the top. We won't fit in your, we won't fit